to talk this over, and we hear from a lot of you before, and it's kind of brought it all together tonight. I'm sorry. It's brought everything together, and hopefully we can go in the right direction after tonight. So if everyone could please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So again, thank you everybody for coming. All the business owner, you're a very important part of our city. And we glad the ones that came, we heard you, we listened to you. And we want to just review what originally was proposed, and then to assure you that there are other things that we are looking at and considering too now, because understand the whole picture is overall. So Mike Vigron, who is an AEW engineering firm, he's the one who helped us, besides our bond committee, when we first just started meeting, and we've talked about roads for years up here, as you know. And it was our goal to try to finally put some effort and some money into this to get them fixed. So either way, we'd like to make it happen, but it's got to happen where we're all successful to make it happen. So we do not want to put anybody out of business. I mean, you guys are the bread and the heartbeat of this city, so we will be listening strong, as you know, and see what we can do. So, Mr. Vigron, if you'd like to just review the original plan, and then we'll go from there.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council, business owners. Thanks everyone for coming tonight. Wanted to start with the original special assessment district proposal that was put forward for a first public hearing. And that included the full reconstruction of all roads in the industrial park. We've outlined the special assessment district in red on the information that's been presented to date. And you can see all the parcels contained therein would be part of this special assessment district. Based on the condition of the roadway, we are recommending that the road be fully reconstructed. All roads are PAVING rated 4 or less, which at this point is the appropriate treatment. Not to say that other treatments aren't out there or available, but that's the right fix at the right time, in our opinion. We held a preliminary meeting with business owners in, I believe it was May 2023, to have some preliminary discussions, and based on some of the feedback that we had gotten at that time, the street subcommittee moved forward with the initial special assessment proposal. The roll was prepared and distributed for the first hearing, and an assessable front foot cost of $108.29 was presented at that time. And that was based on our preliminary engineer's estimate for reconstructing all of the roads in the park over a 3-year time frame, with appropriate cost escalations applied based on our experience in the industry. But these are not construction bids. These are our estimates at this time. Also included in those costs were all the other administrative costs that it would take for the city to put this project out to bid, administer the construction contracts, bonding costs, and things of that nature. We then looked at amortizing that cost over a 10-year bond period, and that resulted in the total project cost of roughly $18 million. That was then distributed amongst all of the assessable front footages. The assessing department reviewed the front footages for all the parcels, and we looked at trying to be as equitable as we could with the total length that businesses would be assessed. For instance, corner lots would only have the shorter of the two distances. You wouldn't be assessed for the full frontage on 2 roads. There are a lot of unique parcels that have, they're on cul-de-sacs or the road angles in front of theirs. We went perpendicular. We're trying to be as equitable as we could for the frontage that was out there. There's just over 23,000 accessible front foot by that methodology in the entire or entire park. The cost was split equally amongst all of those, and again, we looked at a 10-year payback at a estimated interest rate based on recommendations from bond counsel. That was the proposal that was presented in June, and since then I think we've gotten a lot of feedback from the business owners, and at that meeting it was discussed to have this public hearing, again specifically for this item to address any concerns that are out there. As Mr. Mayor, as you indicated, I think everyone wants to find a solution to the poor road condition that works for the city and works for the businesses. We did a year ago prepare a cost summary with varying options for this entire district. I believe that memo was recirculated today, and it's the same information that we presented to the business owners just over a year ago. We looked at the entire district for full reconstruction, for an option that we were calling heavy rehabilitation, which involves a lot of repairing a lot of the concrete that's out there and then resurfacing the entire roadway network with up to 4 inches of asphalt. An option that we're calling light rehabilitation or capital preventative maintenance, which would involve less asphalt and less concrete work and would certainly last a lot less in our opinion. We also presented the spray patching option, which has subsequently been employed or enacted in that district. Again, that is intended to be a short-term fix. We hope it's holding up a little bit better than the cold patch that had been traditionally put in those potholes, but it's not intended to be a long-term solution for this area. Due to the large truck volumes, the loading, the turning movements that are present, we feel a concrete surface is the best option, but recognizing that there are other potential solutions that would create a like new surface, would provide some additional longevity to the pavement structure, but would not be a long-term solution. Even the heavy rehabilitation options that we had presented, we feel are 10 to 15 year type fixes, and what that means is in 10 to 15 years you'll be back probably resurfacing the roadway. We could see that occurring maybe 1 or 2 more times before the base is just going to be deteriorated to a point where you're going to have to do some sort of reconstruction. Again, those are options that are available to address road conditions, but in our opinion, the concrete surface is going to provide, is going to hold up much better under the truck movements that are present. With that, I'll be happy to answer any questions that council or any of the businesses have.
Councilman Odell.
Mike, heavy rehabilitation, is that kind of something similar that was done on French Creek where we're taking out all the cracks, pouring concrete, then putting asphalt in?
Yeah, no, this would be similar to what was done on Utica Road or 13 Mile Road, where there was a concrete surface. They milled out 3 inches in that case, and they put 3 inches of asphalt back after they fixed all the broken concrete. So with that, if you've got failed joints that are creating a pothole at the surface, but underneath is in pretty decent shape, as like in the French Creek subs, where once we got that kind of deteriorated concrete away, the larger crack was quite a bit smaller. And at that point, when you resurface the roadway, they still reflect through in time, but it's, you know, I guess that's the essential treatment that we'd be looking at. And as you know, Utica Road was 2017, I believe, and it's, you know, we're 5 years in, and it's starting to get some of the reflective cracking. It'll need another maintenance treatment, probably 5 to 10 years.
Can you say that last part again?
Oh, I said Utica Road will probably need another maintenance treatment in 5 to 10 years. It'll start cracking, the cracks will start to widen out, So
Utica.
preventative maintenance.
So Utica obviously gets a lot of semi-truck traffic and stuff like that you would find typical in the industrial park, correct? I mean, because they're coming out of there using those roads, so.
Yeah, and the main difference with, for instance, Utica Road, it's traffic that's typically moving. So when you've got trucks, heavily loaded trucks that are slowing and stopping and turning on asphalt, the asphalt material just isn't as good with those loading conditions, the turning, the shearing forces that are on asphalt. So that's one of the reasons we're recommending concrete for this industrial side. We recognize the truck movements aren't always through. A lot of them are slowing, stopping, making deliveries, backing up. Those are the kind of forces that would, I guess, be less desirable on an asphalt surface than a concrete surface.
And since our last meeting, I've been doing a little bit of research with some of the roads in our Macomb County that have been fixed. And I looked at 15-mile road project. Obviously, it's been through a lot with the sinkhole and everything else, but that looked like it was a 5-year project. And what they did there is just, replace everything that needed replaced and did a lot of saw cutting. It left everything there that was good and replaced everything that was bad. If you get closer to the growth spec, you'll look at it, it's still like, I'd say 60 to 70% all new and 30% old. So that just put it to my head as maybe that's something we can consider too down the road, is to start doing that. And it took 15 Mile Road 5 years to get it from here, I believe, all the way to Van Dyke. And obviously money was the issue with them too, with the county. So that again is another way, of course, it's still gonna take money, it'll take patience, it's gonna take a plan, and to look at it, how much every year can we do that? And what would it take, working together to come up with a plan, to how much can we afford to do that? How much every year? Is it a half mile, a mile? I believe right now it's what, $1 million a mile for just a one lane?
That's correct. It's about $1 million to, depending on the treatment, $1 million to $1.5 million a lane mile for construction costs alone,
Yeah, so,
per lane.
lane, yeah.
So most of the roads in the industrial park are 36 foot wide, which we would consider equivalent to a 3-lane road.
Yeah. So it's like, we really have to do our due diligence and see how many would need to be replaced in that. But it's just another idea and a thought that I had, and I researched and, thought like it might be a good idea too. Mayor Pro Tem Shornack.
Thank you. So we don't want to keep kicking this down the road because the business owners have deserved this for a long time. But at the same time, as I'm sure you know, the city can't shoulder the whole burden. Although I also, and I believe everybody up here on council feels the same way, we have no intention of forcing anything down your throats because we don't want your businesses to go under. Obviously, you are the backbone of Fraser, and we are aware of that. So we need your input. I had a separate idea, but I know it's, one of the things I was going to propose is that unfortunately we piecemeal the thing so that you guys are not putting all this money up front, and the city would also kick in every single year, and start with the biggest street, which I think is Mayland, right? Start with Mayland, because that pretty much connects all of you, and maybe do another side street at that point. But then you have to keep in mind, costs will go up every year. Not only will costs go up every year, you guys will be inconvenienced by the construction. So, I mean, there's a plus and minus to every action we could possibly take. I know we've discussed trying to see how much money the city can put in as a total. I know we've played with several numbers, so it would be more than we initially had discussed. So, again, we want to get it fixed. We want to do it the right way. But unfortunately, times being what they are, we don't have that kind of money sitting in the bank just to go ahead and do a subdivision, as much as we would love to do that. So that's why we need to know what you guys can comfortably do as far as numbers go. And I know nobody else wants more taxes. Believe me, I'm aware of that, especially a special assessment. But I won't feel comfortable passing anything unless we have your buy-in. And hopefully you guys have gotten a hold of a lot of other people too, because this is more people than last time. But I know we have, what is it,
20?
129, I'm like, I know it was 120-something businesses, and we would want everybody's buy-in, basically like a majority vote on what you guys want to do, so, huh? You got everybody's? God bless you. That is awesome.
Okay, hold on.
Okay, yep. But that would be my thought process. Again, I know there's got to be a way we can do this, even if it means piecemealing it, but at least you guys would get something, and then, we could go from there. But I know that it will increase the cost in the long run.
Yeah, long term, yeah.
Yeah, long term.
And it's going to be hard to make everybody happy 100%. I know we're going to sure try, but even in my neighborhood, we talked about French Creek, people, unfortunately, I live on French Creek, and everyone knows where I live. So I had many, many visits, from people about fixing the roads, well, they finally fixed the roads. Unfortunately, it looks like a NASCAR racetrack now because everything's just filled, but it's fixed well, and it's going to last a lot of years, but now it's the appearance of the road. So it's kind of hard sometimes, but we did fix it finally. We had cracks this wide, this deep, and water coming out of them, so. But we did the best that we could with the money. I think it was $450,000 to do, or in cement, it would have been over $2 million to do. And we'll get, hopefully 10, 15 years out of this fix. So we're trying to do the best we can with the money we have. But in the industrial sub, it needs to be done right, because we don't want to be back here again to, fixing the asphalt that's just laid on top or spray patching. Councilwoman Baranski.
Yeah, I think you guys might not have some of this history, and I think it's important so you understand where we're actually coming from. When we started this, it was a subcommittee of myself, the mayor, and Mr. Odell, or Councilmember Odell. We tried to share this project with and I'm going to say it, and a bunch of people are going to be pissed, but I'm here for you guys right now. We tried to spread this entire cost across the entire city. Unfortunately, we couldn't do it. We're told we can't do it because the entire city doesn't use those roads. It is listen, no one was more, we literally had all of our eggs in a row, we were ready to go, and the bond counsel and the attorney said, can't do it. And we said, which is why, you may or may not know this, because we know our residents' roads also need to be done, they have to vote. We can't do, they have to vote. And if they vote no, they don't get anything else than what they're getting, which is French Creek and Hidden Pine and doing the best with what we can. And so I give you that context just so that you do understand. We didn't just say, 18 million, pass it off to you. Oh, no, 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 no. We spent a long time, we made him come up with every option possible so that we could weigh the pros and cons. We rely on our experts because I don't know what damage the truck's going to do, except for that now I do, because I live where they did the asphalt, and the garbage trucks are tearing it up 3 months later. And those are just garbage trucks. So we're very mindful of the fix being right. The other thing we didn't know when we started this, and we knew all along, which is why we waited till August, because we had to get our audit, we didn't know how much the city would be able to contribute, keeping in mind we got all kinds of debt because, not our fault, but our fault, they didn't plan for your roads. They didn't plan for pensions. They didn't plan for health insurance. And here we are. You guys, for years, have been coming and begging for your roads to be fixed. Well,
But why are your legacy costs our problem?
welcome to the City of Fraser. They're my problem as a resident.
Hold on.
Yeah, wait, you gotta wait.
Wait, I cannot have people talk because nothing's recorded, but I have to record the entire meeting, what people have to say. so
You'll all get a chance.
We'll get that opportunity to do it, and, we understand your feelings. I mean, yeah, I've been in Fraser my entire life and paid taxes when I could start paying taxes, and believe me, I don't like to pay it. I don't like to pay the water bill worse than the taxes, but
Right.
you can continue.
Yeah, so why? Because you're a taxpayer in Fraser. I get it. Why does anyone have to pay the legacy cost? Why do we have to pay for the mistakes of Kwame Kilpatrick on 15 Mile? The whole county's paying for that. It's not fair. but it is the way the government's set up. So I just give you that context. We're here, we have been since day one trying to figure out what can we do? How can we make people the least amount of upset? Because no one's going to be happy. You're not happy that the roads aren't done, and you're not happy that you're going to have to pay some part of it. That's human nature. I'm not happy I'm going to have to vote to get roads fixed, and my road's not getting fixed, and I'm going to have to pay extra tax. But we're here, all 6 of us, 7 of us, she just couldn't be here today, with that intent. So I just wanted you to understand the history of why we felt as the subcommittee and as a council that the recommendation of our experts to do the entire project with, as you indicated before, a purposefully high estimate so that we don't have to come back and go, oh, whoopsie, it wasn't 18, it was really 20 or 24 or whatever. But to the contrary, hey, good news, it's actually 18 minus. We purposely went in conservative so that the initial shock was the worst shock. So I just wanted to give that context.
And that's why we're listening to you. We didn't come here to vote yes and say, do it. And Ken, I talked to Ken many times, and we talked a lot of different types of options, and I assured him we weren't going to shove it down your guys' throat. We won't. Councilman Odell.
Mike, when is Klein Road supposed to be resurfaced? When's that scheduled?
2026.
Or Kelly, that's what I meant.
Oh.
Sorry, 20,
Klein Road also.
well, I'm sorry,
Uh,
Kelly,
Kelly Road, from 14 to 15 Mile Road is slated for this fall.
this fall.
Yeah,
Okay.
NDOT just took bids on that earlier this month. It hasn't been awarded yet, but we believe it will be awarded soon.
Okay. So obviously, we've heard from all of you letters and whatnot. There obviously isn't support to do the whole thing as we originally set out. My thought is that we repair 2 roads that the right way, Malin and Commerce, I think it's Commerce Boulevard, because those are the 2 main arteries that go through the whole sub that would be used the most by pretty much every business. That way you have an outlet to Kelly that's going to be totally repaved and an outlet to 15 Mile that'd be totally repaved. Mike, do you know roughly, if we just do Malin, the recommended way, roughly how much that would be?
408 million, isn't that one?
4.8 million?
4,800,000, sorry,
it's on
yes.
this, yeah.
It's on the page.
Okay.
I'm backwards.
Just Malin.
I apologize.
Or just Malin?
Just
correct?
Malin, yeah. I had actually gone through and kind of applied the same thought process to all the roads, so I would have all of
About
them for
Commerce
you. So
Boulevard, do you-
Commerce is about 1.5 million.
Okay,
Commerce is the narrowest road out of all the roads in the sub. It's the only one that's 32 feet, not 36 feet. So it's
okay, oh, okay.
less per foot to do that.
So it's less per foot to do that. And that would give 2 clear arteries, new roads both ways. Obviously, we wouldn't be able to do the whole thing, but you're looking at 6.3 million. And if we kick in 1.5 million from the city.
4.8.
Yeah, so 4.8 is that's what I would be approaching this as, is a way to get some road work done. It's not gonna do everything, it's not gonna, but it would be under the same district, the special assessment district. Everybody would share in the cost, but 4.8 million's a lot better to share than
18.
yeah, 18. So,
And our next year would be, or the year following would be the goal to do another 2 roads.
right, so as we go along,
You're just spreading it out. You're not doing anything, you're not picking up any of the money, you're just telling us here, you're gonna spend it anyway.
Okay, let's
Spend it in
Yeah.
pieces?
Hold on
Order.
again. But he did say 1.8 million just for this we would kick in, obviously.
1.5.
Or one-
How much are you guys kicking in?
1.5
Million.
of 6,
What percentage is that?
1/3.
Hold on.
1/3 of those 2 streets.
So all of this assessment is gonna pick up 1/3 by the city.
No, not the whole
Full
thing.
of council. In 4 years, you got 4 new people. That's I'm sorry, I should.
But I mean, that's my thought. I would love to hear from you when it's time, what you folks think. I understand, I got it. But that's the way, I mean, otherwise, There's not going to be money to do other than what's been done.
Bad management.
Well, I understand bad management, but
You're part of it. So don't stand there like it's all us.
I never said it was all you, sir. We're trying to find a solution. We're trying to find a solution with the, well,
Stand up to your responsibilities and write a check. We don't mind.
Sir.
We need a call order.
Please. We have to keep order. We're working together here, not against each
No, we're
other.
not.
Well, yes, sir, we
You
are.
might be, you might think you are, but you're not. It's
Oh.
us versus them.
I've been here all my life. I think I
Yeah,
know
well,
what
what
I'm
did you
doing.
do wrong all that time you were here? Because you sure didn't do a very
Excuse me,
good
sir.
job of being a mayor.
Excuse me, sir. I haven't been mayor all my life. I've been a firefighter, and I saved a lot of your buildings over there in my
Didn't save any
career.
of mine.
Jeez. Yes, so, everybody hold on. Okay? We're going to go ahead and ask if you guys have questions for the engineer or us. Please state them. We have a 5-minute rule that's always at every meeting, not just for this meeting, but it's a 5-minute rule. And we'll try to do the best we can to answer them, and we're looking for ideas and help. We're not looking for the past. I mean, no one up here has to be here if they don't want to, you know? So, I need you to come forward, sit at the chair, announce your name, your address for the record.
Hi, I'm Julie Huff, address 717400 Nova, and the 3 adjacent buildings on Malin. And my question is, so there was have you bidded this job out to construction already?
No,
Okay, so then, but you have an estimate of 18 million?
yeah, our engineer
Which Fraser will
companies,
pay 1 million or less than 1%.
Nope.
And so the burden is then on the non-voting members of the industrial park to pick up the rest. So are you going after municipal bonds?
Yep.
Why not?
no.
Why not go after municipal bonds for 20 years at less than 3%, than burdening us with 10 years at 6%? I mean, we agree the roads need to be fixed. We're not here to say the roads don't need to be fixed. We're here to say, why are you killing the calf that's feeding all your legacy costs? I mean, why do you have 5 city parks? Close a few of them and give us some money. So is there an answer to that about the municipal bonds, why you didn't seek municipal bonds?
What do you mean?
Yeah, I'm not familiar with what means municipal bonds.
Municipal bonds are granted by the government, and they're tax-free, and they're less than 3% right now. So if you, as a municipality, went after municipal bonds, you wouldn't have to charge 6% to us over 10 years. And why not spread that over 20 years? We waited 30 years for this road fix. So that would be one thing I would suggest. Go after the municipal bonds, not a public bond, and then spread this payment out.
Well, obviously, we will look into that because I think at one point, someone said municipal bonds could not be used for public infrastructure, but maybe they were wrong. Maybe,
So I
yeah.
think there's a difference there. And then my property comes right off of the entrance for 15 Mile Road. And so I'm paying the burden of everybody turning in front of my building. Am I going to get a little cut?
I'm trying to see which
For
one.
myself.
Little Hunger Games, we like it.
And then
Mr.,
one more
just to
question.
answer your question, though.
Just do Malin, are the special assessments still for the entire park?
it would have to be to spread it out again.
That would be if we could do that. So all of our ideas, we have to vet, like, we don't, I don't know
We
if
don't
we
have answers to
can
everything, but that's why we're
do,
meeting.
I guess that's the question, and I don't know if you know. Can we do a special assessment for all properties if they don't abut the road?
I wouldn't think so.
I don't think so either,
So
which
you're
is why.
asking the people on
right.
Malin to take
No,
what?
no, right.
We wouldn't do that.
No idea is a bad idea tonight.
Right.
Because out of the mouths of this and this and this, the goal is to get a package where everyone's like, okay.
Yeah.
So,
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I just feel like we feel you don't have skin in the game. And, you know, we need
feel
more
it.
than just your 1%, really.
We get it.
Well, we really-
We're going to feel the pain of it.
We do get
You're
it.
going to feel the pain of it as well. We're
We
in
do
this
get it.
together.
We do get it. We always talk about how much more can we put into it? How much more can we put into it? And we ask that question often. How much more can we put
But
into the
you're-
roads?
But you need to take some concrete steps then.
Yeah, well, that's what we're trying to do now, and that's why we have you involved. That's why we want you involved.
Thank you.
Elaine, can you answer her question about, you were stepped out, but she asked about municipal bonds and why we're not going after municipal bonds and instead doing an SAD.
Well, we have to bond to be able to get the money to do the work.
Right?
So the SAD would be paying back the bonds.
My question is, why wouldn't you pursue municipal bonds instead of just farming out on whatever bonds you're going to purchase?
So my understanding of the bond process is that with the bond council, they're the ones that shop it out. So whatever the best deal is that they can get, the best rates and return on our money. So it may be a combination of municipal bonds, it may be other things, but there are certainly restrictions on what they're allowed to invest in. You have to have a minimal amount of risk because this is taxpayer money. So we can't just kind of gamble on the stock market with any of that. There's a lot of restrictions on what we are allowed to invest in.
Yeah, can you put that in writing somewhere? Because we need to have the lowest interest rate available.
Yeah, it's part of state law.
You know, so I'm just surprised that if municipal.
But we will ask that question.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mayor, could you have somebody repeat the question then, if we're not gonna follow the
Sure.
typical rules?
No, we're going to try to
We are.
follow it. Absolutely.
We're just trying to get an answer
Just
to the first
This
question.
many people, it's hard to do, but, you know, we're not going to throw nobody in jail. Okay, next. Who's next?
Jeff Siciliano, 34673 Bennett. I'd just like to make a correction. Maybe it's my old ears, but I thought I heard Mike say 109 instead of 809 when you were talking about the thing. It is 809, right?
Yeah.
If it's 109, I can go home.
Well, then we found a common ground.
Yeah,
Now we
right.
just got to work from 90 whatever to, or 809 to.
Yeah, so, you know, I wrote up this nice little speech here and stuff, and I'm just going to try to go off the cuff a little bit. We've got together as a group, if you probably are aware. We've had meetings. It's really helped our organization as an industrial sub. And quite frankly, as you can kind of tell, and maybe we'll tell as we keep going, is there's a lot of emotion in this with the amount of money we're talking about. And that's the biggest problem. And people are definitely afraid that you guys are going to pass this $17 million. And I know you guys are saying no, but will you guys commit tonight to get rid of the $18 million? Because that's what we talked about in our meeting, and that's what I have, all these petitions that have 80, 90 names on them. Plus, that doesn't even count the protest letters that didn't sign a petition. Are you guys today, will you commit to, quote unquote, killing that deal? Because that's what's got us all afraid. And I'm speaking on behalf of a lot of people, I believe, right? Yes? It's the amount of money. So will you guys kill that deal? I think I got it. Yeah.
This original deal, which we put together before
Yeah.
really talking to anybody, as I told Mr. Emler last week, I will not vote for it.
That's one.
I'm not either.
I'm not
Two. That's three. It's four. You guys are committing that in front of us.
Absolutely.
That's four. Okay. No?
I don't have an alternative. So the alternative to killing the deal is no deal. So it's
And I think
the-
we would accept that, actually.
Okay, but here's the deal. For 20 years, well, a good 7 or 8 years, and all of these letters say, we wanted the roads, we want the roads, your roads are atrocious, your roads are atrocious. So if those are the two options that,
I understand where
and I'm
you're
not trying to be disrespectful.
No, I understand where
I'm
you're
going to say something
coming
and it's
from.
going to
I
sound
understand.
disrespectful, it's not meant to be.
But
I don't know that no option is an option for me as a council person, because all that does is kick the can down the road, and that's what
I
counts.
don't think we're saying no to no option. We're saying no
That's
to
why I
that
can't
option.
give you
I understand,
And
I
it's- you
understand,
only
I
need
know where
four.
you stand,
You
I know
only
where you
need four.
stand, and that's fine.
Yeah. So I'm
Ms.
not
Blanky,
saying yes, but
would you
I have
vote
other
yes or
options.
no on that $17 million if we voted today?
I'm going to recuse myself, and I'm going to tell you why.
Okay.
I've been, thank you for, I've been involved in this for quite a while, a couple lifetimes, I think, I'm not sure. But my term is over in a couple months. And there's going to be an election. And hopefully, Mayor Carnegie, because he, as he said, he
When is the election?
November.
Okay, so in November, we could have, how many of you are up for re-election?
Yeah, that's, no one ran besides,
There-
Okay, so you
there's-
guys will be back, you will be
No,
leaving
somebody
us.
might do a write-in.
yeah,
Oh,
I still stand with that. Somebody might do a
Don't
write-in.
write in my name.
right in
gotta be a resident.
Let's stay on subject. Please.
No, my point is, I don't mean to, I won't say anything that'll interfere in any kind of logic or analytical process, because I do understand this. I remember when it was fixed 30 years ago, and it's like, I think you're a bunch of wonderful people, and you're right. You've contributed to our community all these years. I moved in 1968 on Janet, so I'm well aware of what went up and the progress and what you've given our community. So if you will please excuse me, I'm not going to, I don't want to sway anybody's vote one way or the other, because I'm not going to be here.
I understand, I understand.
Okay, so thank
Just trying
you
to
for
get- Nope,
listening.
and I appreciate the honesty that you present. And I know you, I don't want to offend anybody. You mentioned offending. I don't want to offend anybody, but it's very difficult sometimes to trust folks in your situation and the way the society is right now, the way political things are right now. It's very hard to trust. So that's why we're scared to death. And if you guys are committing to that, we have met and we plan on meeting again. In our meetings, the owners came up with some wonderful ideas and alternatives that we want to research, we want to investigate. I'm glad that you guys didn't come to the meeting. And by the way, I wanted to open with saying I really do appreciate personally that you guys would do this meeting for us. It did tell me that you listened, and I appreciate that. I think a lot of people appreciate that you guys did that for us. So it's not all negative, but we're scared to death that that's going to pass. And if you're telling me there's 4 people that won't, I don't know if I have to do these petitions to get some kind of supermajority, but it's not that we don't want to move forward with you guys. It's not that we don't want to work with you guys. We have some great ideas, but it took a long time just to get organized. So I thank you for allowing us to get organized. And we are going to need some time to get some of our ideas and thoughts together to be able to, we know some people know some people in Lansing, some people know some other things. So we would like to also request that we have some time to be able to get together with our group and put some thoughts to this as far as what we can offer too.
Absolutely. And if you want to make myself or anyone on council part of that group, please invite us. I mean, communication is so important in these type of things. And it goes to show, I remember when we had the first meeting and it was at Carmela Foods, I was actually kind of shocked because I know the power of the industrial complexes that, we only had like 9 people there. 10
Well, there's a
people.
lot more people at my office yesterday,
Well, I
trust
know,
me.
but
well, right, but,
that's what I'm
so when
saying,
was
so-
that, Mr. Mayor? That was like December
Yeah,
of
last year.
last year.
Correct.
Or October, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
It was
was.
a while ago, and there was no
Glad
cost
it-
involved.
I'm glad it's gotten you guys together,
Yeah.
because that's what I was hoping for in that first meeting, because I said, let's get them involved. 'Cause
Well,
we
what
wanna
got
hear-
us to get involved and together is $809. That's the bottom line. I don't think anybody, if you guys would have came with a different proposal, that would have been a lot less money, and still wanted to do assessment, we may not be here today.
Yeah.
But the 809 is just,
is.
it's going to crush some people. It
Talk
really
about
will.
Scaring when you say scare people.
So I understand you guys, there's a money situation now. Ms. Baranski, is that what it is? You had mentioned in the June meeting that you might be able to go back and get some more money. You mentioned a number of 3 million.
I got
I'm not-
ideas.
Right?
I got ideas. That's
And-
why, like.
And if you
I'll
guys,
put my number
is there
out right
still
now.
some numbers and there's still some
4.5
money?
million is what I think the city can
Pardon me?
contribute. 4.5 million.
Yeah, so we're-
4.5 million is the number I'm going to advocate for.
Okay, but 4.5 million can go towards, that's a total amount over 10 years? What is that?
That would-
Over
Towards the cost of the
3 years.
project. So the
the project.
Just the
18.5
project.
would come, if, or what is it, 18 million would come down, 4.5.
Now, if we went with some other alternative, and it was 6-7 million, would that still, would this 4.2 million still come to play?
I don't know, because AM won, a vote of 1, and I am not in favor of, because by the time
Doesn't
we
like
pay that
Band-Aids.
off, you're going to literally need to redo it. Before you pay it off, if you do the asphalt, seeing what's
If we
going
do
on in the
asphalt, yeah,
courts.
but we don't
Which
know
is the
it, right?
alternative, right? That's the
Well, it's
next-
one, I mean, patching is another. There's a lot of different things that we can come up with, so
Yeah.
getting more money from other folks, that's a possibility too, so,
Always,
right?
yeah.
But we,
Conversation hasn't stopped.
right, now, you have at an August meeting, I believe there is an agenda item
Uh-huh.
for this. Is that to vote on this?
That's to discuss it.
Discuss
Just
it?
like what's going on today.
Okay.
There could be a vote, but that doesn't mean, wait, okay, we meet once a month unless we have a special meeting. We can't, we can't get together and decide what we're going to do.
Because it's not public, I understand.
Because it's not public.
Violation.
And we purposely committed, last time you guys were here, to have this meeting, but we also committed to keep it on the agenda so that we don't just forget about it, because we started this last October. Actually, we started way before October of last year. We probably started it right after Councilmember Odell got on. So my point being, because it takes a long time.
Understand.
I am 100% comfortable in getting more information, but if it's not on the agenda, we all know what happens when it's not in the forefront.
Completely understand.
You're always welcome.
However,
Contact us and we'll,
However,
Part of it.
it's, is there a way, and maybe I'm speaking for myself, I don't know, other people can speak, but is there a way we can at least postpone that for a few months? Because that's 3 weeks from now, and we're not going to have enough time to meet and to come up with some things. So
I
now
think-
I've got to come to the meeting to make sure nobody adds it to the, has a vote for it or anything. So could we actually take that off the agenda? Is that a
What
option?
the discussion was going to be is how much we could put in, not about making it happen.
So at that
No,
meeting,
that's
you
not
wouldn't have a vote to.
I thought that's what we were doing.
as we get closer,
We don't even have the packet yet.
Yeah,
So in
okay.
fairness, we get the packet a week before.
Before the meeting.
We get, which is fine, but here's the other deal. We are all, call us, text us, know where he
Email.
lives, come to my house. It's not to be done in secret,
No.
ever. Ever, 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 ever,
I
ever. I will give
control
you
the
my
agenda
personal
with the
cell
city
phone.
manager.
Yeah. Like, I'm not
I
gonna,
can tell you it's not going to be,
Okay, well, you might get an invite to one of our meetings maybe down the road
That'd be
here.
awesome.
Just to
I'd love to come.
get you on, we'll get you on our turf, you can see some of the buildings, you can take a look at some of the roads some more.
We wanna
Anyways,
hear
I don't
your
want to take,
ideas.
I know I've taken more than 5 minutes, I'm sure other
Absolutely.
people want to
I
talk,
appreciate
but thank you for listening, you guys.
Absolutely. Let's see, Councilman Odell, you were next.
Yeah, I would love to meet with your group if you guys have a consensus. I think the road committee, which is 3 of us, which can meet without it being a public open meeting, would like to meet with you and brainstorm the ideas you guys have. It's the mayor, myself, and Councilwoman Bransky. So the 3 of us could meet you, and then we can relay information back to other members, but not to break the Open Meetings Act. That's like you said, we got to be transparent.
and we'll invite our engineering.
We could invite our engineer.
He's the expert.
Because, I mean, the more minds we put together on this, the better solution we can find.
I need you to come up here because
See, you already know, 2 meetings in.
Yeah, stay in the room, stay in the room.
I mean, that's what I would.
I got new numbers.
That's
right
what I
here.
would prefer. I don't want to vote on anything till we have
Don't touch
a
that.
consensus. I mean, we're never going to make everybody happy. But if we can get a consensus with you guys on a fix that doesn't break the city, we've finally got out of the bad financial times from way back in 08, 09. Mistakes were made in the past. There's nothing we can do. We got to look forward.
Right, and I just,
Because, I mean, we could blame game all day long, but that's not going to solve our problem that's ahead of us. So get your things together. We'll meet with you as a subcommittee, and
I just don't want you to do anything rash in
No.
August, because
you have my
we're not
commitment
going
from me at least, that will not happen.
we're not
I will
gonna
commit to
That will not
that.
happen.
No rashness. This, if you, and I get that you're not residents, but one thing I can say about this council,
My kids all went to Fraser. Does that count?
so, yeah, it does. You are Fraser. No rash decisions from this council ever.
Yeah,
not
that's
gonna happen.
The last thing I want to do as a councilman is, and I'm very pro-business. I want businesses to flourish and do well. So, stronger business communities, better for us as a city. So,
Again, I guess my point is that I don't know we would be ready by August.
Well-
It might be,
Well, that's fine.
well,
might
I
be
mean,
October. It might be who knows when, but
Just give me a call, let me know if you're ready or not.
okay.
Ken's got all my contact stuff, and
yep, but we want to work with you. Yeah, absolutely. If you guys have solutions I'm not an engineer, I'm not a road engineer, I could do the best with I got, but collective brain power in this room can do a lot. So I'm hoping that we can do that. So please.
I'd like to see Ken start wearing his jerseys again. So
Yeah.
he's
He said, you don't
Basketball
have to go. I
season's
said, I don't
over,
want to
so.
sit next to that.
looks like John Travolta.
I knew I'd like to.
But thank you for your comments on that.
No, I love you, Ken. But thank you, and I really do appreciate, I do appreciate your honesty about the vote, and I do appreciate, Mr. Odell, your vote, Mr. Carnegie, your vote, Miss Shornat,
Shornack.
your vote, and Miss Sutherland, your vote. Thank you.
Mr. Emler,
Yeah, Ken Himmler, Hawk Industrial, 18500 Malin. I wanted to sit here, sorry, Mike. I wanted to move Mike because, number one, I didn't want him to get hurt. And number two, he was just a potted plant just sitting here at this point. So, couple things. For the letters that you received, how many letters did you receive are for this?
I have not received one.
Not one.
In our packet.
Okay. And anyone here?
If by this you mean the $18.5 million proposal.
Correct.
Because I think we all agree that proposal, I commit that proposal is not what I'm going to propose. So just so we're all clear, that was the starting point. That was the opening.
Consider that, I would say, dead, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
But what's the alternative?
But I didn't like what you said. You said this 18 million or no deal.
Well,
And I say no 18 million, but we're still going to deal. We're going to work together until we get this right. So you said no deal, but no, this isn't going away, but we got to get this right. Couple questions. Special assessment for us. When was the last time you assessed a street for road repair?
Mike C. Court over Grossbeck, and about 12 years ago, 10 years, 12 years ago.
Wait, what street?
It was Hellrow Street.
Another industrial street.
Yeah.
What about residential streets?
I don't recall.
Never.
Since I've been up here, it was residential. Yeah.
Okay. Well, back to your point about the residents said, well, nobody travels our roads. I don't know how many people travel French Creek. Who travels French Creek?
A lot.
Right. The residents, right? Who travels Fruhoff? No special assessment there. You know who travels our streets? Trucks. 20 employees per building, 5 employees per building. Product going in and out. So the fact that the residents don't travel our roads, there's no reason for them to travel our roads. Just like there's no reason why anybody that's not going anywhere near Fruhoff would ever go down Fruhoff or any of these other, Janet Street or Cyril Street. Why would, unless you're cutting through, I mean, that's a horrible argument. These roads are traveled by us. These are the people that are making the money, or I wouldn't say making the money, running their businesses. That's another false flag is, everyone's got a Lamborghini parked outside. Right, we're paying the taxes. So my question is, like some of these residential streets that get redone, you do them for them because they're voters. But they don't get I don't know when the last time I traveled any of these roads were. So there has to be an interest. There's a reason why they don't travel our industrial roads. Another thing, regarding what roads should be done in the park. Like, you said you met with Councilman Odell and somebody else. I have a question. Why didn't anybody talk to us?
We did. We had a meeting in October of '22 and.
No. But 809 came up in the last two.
Sorry.
Microphone Nazi.
Because when we
When did 809 come up?
literally came up and we published it, right? That's, right?
Yeah,
It
yeah.
didn't come up, it didn't
No.
come up in October.
No. no, it didn't.
809 came up 2 months ago.
Because in October, we were under the impression that we could share the cost across the city. And we can't. So the number would have been way less. And we found out, unfortunately, we cannot do that. And that is our error, but it doesn't change where we're at today. You're absolutely right. You're coming now, although it's late to the game, it's not. It's not, but like you said, if it had been 100 or 200, we wouldn't see you. But you're here now, so, well, I don't know, you said 100 and whatever, you would be out of here. But,
Well, wait a minute, you keep saying late to the game.
well, because the implication is that because we had a meeting and it's on the agenda, it's a done deal. It's not. It's just that each step, right? Who can be in the special assessment? What's going to be in the special assessment? What's the cost of the project? What project do we want to do? Do we want to do the full, the middle, or the low? Then the last thing that she did was put together the numbers officially. So the official number now with the creme de la creme package with just the smallest contribution from the city is the 809 number. Each of those things can now be tweaked to bring the 809 number down. That's why we wanted the meeting from you, because 809, when we all heard 809 and said, oh, ouch. But we don't know it until we knew, because you had to take out and all of the stuff, right? Because we don't want the corner lot to pay both sides, because that's not fair. So, just to kind of help, like.
That is accurate.
But as you can see, like, I'm always available because I've been involved with Fraser for years. But as far as these people being involved, once you spit out the 809 is when they showed up. Okay, so, I mean, saying the term late to the game bothers me because we were.
Listen, Ken, I
we
did
don't
not
even-
say you were late to the game.
Okay, hold on,
I
let me finish.
But I don't want you to misunderstand what I said. I said, while it may appear to some that you're late to the game, you're not late to the game. The game started, but the information develops piece by piece by piece by piece. And the questions in the beginning were, how long do you want the bond to be for? 10 years or 20, right? They were very generic questions. So I was trying to say, don't freak out because it's 809 in June. That's why we have this meeting.
Oh, yeah, look at it as you took it as the game has started because now we have your full
Right.
team.
Beautiful.
Right.
Yep,
That was
yep.
the preseason.
Okay, the other thought
In
is
football
this.
terms for you.
We're trying not to be involved in your business because this is your business. But we can help you with some of this stuff too. We're not, you have a vast array of resources behind you that we know people, we can
Everybody
help.
relies on business.
Okay.
You know that, Ken, for everything. It's just.
But here's my point is, when we got to 809, that's when we showed up. We weren't part of the process, nor did we all have to be part of the process regarding the special assessment district, because that doesn't mean anything until you hit us with the 809. Now you got us showing up here. The roads that we're going to do, like you said, doing them piecemeal, what we were talking about.
Maybe 1, 2 a year we try or whatever. That's an option.
Here's another thing.
Discussion.
Maybe ask me or ask us too, because frankly, to me, Malin's bad. Or Riviera, James Pompo, and Dorica are undrivable. My feelings come loose when I drive down those streets. I can make it down, I don't have no buildings on those streets, but I'm thinking of these guys. And to do Malin and leave those are the worst streets.
Which ones did you say, Ken?
Riviera, Dorica, and James J. Pombo.
Yeah, we actually
Mail-
have ratings on all of them,
Yeah.
so we can,
They're all.
Malin's livable. They're all bad. Nothing's worse than Kelly, though.
Oh,
Oh,
God,
that's why I'm
yes.
saying Kelly was getting
Right.
done. Maybe it made more sense.
Kelly's the worst road in Macomb County, and the next 2 or 3 worst roads in Macomb County you can find in our industrial park. We got them all right there. So yeah, that's the kind of stuff that I would say, hey, ask us, because we can tell you, and you can blame me. If we did Riviera before we did Malin, and so you get screamed at, say, talk to me. I'll take it, because frankly, to me, I'm always been about what's best for these people, the industrial businesses, and what's best for everybody, and even for you too. Another couple of things we want to do as far as buying time. I've been told that we should, and I'll even help you with this too. I'm actually volunteering to do this. Blow up the phones of some of our politicians. There's a lot of federal tax money that they're sitting on, that they're just looking for a reason to let it go. John James,
yeah, I talked to him last week.
did you? Okay. Well, if you talk to him and I talk to him, and these are all business owners, he likes support, he likes donations, and hey, if we can give all our money to Ukraine, they can give it to us to fix our tax-paying roads. So I'll be back, but that's all I have for right now.
Thank you.
I apologize.
Yes, please call. Please call your
I
politicians.
apologize for my outfit. I was in a hurry. I did
Yeah,
find
call
something
the
that matched.
politicians.
I
Call
did the
every one of them.
Garanimals thing where everything matched.
Ken, that's not different from any other day.
I was gonna literally say.
Yeah, I possibly said a wrong date on a telephone message to him, and I heard about it for 2 days, so. Right? Okay. Ms. Blanky, did you have something to say?
Thank you. I just, Ken, you'll remember, and I'm sure several of you do, many years ago, do the initials IFT ring a bell, or tax abatements? And the same gentleman here that you're upset when we talk about the possibilities of these options, and you know Fraser gave out the best abatements and IFTs ever, right, Ken? Am I telling the truth?
We ended up there, yes.
Okay. And as you well know, Mike and I were up here 10 years, 15, whatever years ago. We recall that, and then we would leave a meeting and get our tires slashed out in the park. No, I'm just joking. But I'm being silly in a way to just express, we took a lot of flack, but we defended you. We defended you also. And we're not unaware of the fact that you have been a crucial part of the community. I've already said that. But I just want you to remember, please, if any of you in the audience have ever received an IFT or an abatement from us, that's all we're asking for at this point, is your patience and your understanding in what we're trying to do. And I think you know, seriously, Fraser has been fair to you as well, I believe. And this too shall pass. Get through this. And I have great confidence in Mayor Carnegie. He will lead you through, like he talks about Congressman John James. He does stuff like that all the time, but he does it quietly. He doesn't pat himself on the back. He doesn't make a big deal about it, but he will work for you. And that's what I just wanted to say as I leave the meeting. And I wanted to say bye-bye. I'm leaving. Thank you.
Thank you.
Referee, Kathy, you can't leave.
When you get to be my age, you can pretty much do whatever you want. But thank you all for coming. You know I'm sincere in everything I say. This council here with Mayor Carnegie, and you know my husband was a mayor, I will say Mayor Carnegie is one of the best we've ever had. And if we're going to go forward with this city, help us. reelect him. Good night. It's a commercial. Right.
Okay.
I did not sponsor that. Paid for. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Deborah Smith, Edridge Products, one of the original tenant building owners since 1979. It's a shame that our high tax dollars haven't been realized by the residents. But in order for us to make a collective good decision, are we going to be privy to the cost comparatives or the comparative costs so that we can do our own cost analysis for the different proposed resolutions? When you say 5 to 10 years, that's a big difference. So if we can collectively come up with an agreed proposed resolution that lasts 10 years versus 5 years, we may be for that. But we need more information for the different various resolutions. Is that something that we can be privy to?
Everything's public record.
Okay.
Everything.
Where would we find that?
Is it not in the packet? He wrote a great letter,
Yeah, I mean,
part of the packet.
here's the whole part of our packet
Okay,
that shows
with
a
with
lot
the
of
breakdown of what our contribution would be and
Oh.
over
Oh, no, the contribution part's not there,
Oh,
just breakdown.
okay, well, that's a big part.
Yeah,
As well as the tenure of how.
Yeah, this has the length and the prospective
And the
length
cost.
and the
That's what I'm
cost
looking
to each thing.
Yeah, I do. So the memo that I asked Ms. Levin to recirculate that before the meeting, I just felt it was timely. But I do believe that was on a previous council packet, so it has been publicly issued.
We will definitely share it before the night is over.
Yeah,
We'll get
and
Not that I'm looking for, okay, if the creme de la creme is 809,
Yep.
what is the medium, what is the
Yeah.
low, how long does it take, what's our contribution, proposed contribution?
and you know, as Ms. Baranski indicated previously, we're always a little bit cautious when we throw out budgetary estimates. We want to make sure that we're in a realm of realistic numbers that you know people can make good decisions on. But we don't want to come back and say, "Wow, we were way off." You know, we're into a contract that's way more than this.
But this is your expertise, right?
This is
Okay.
So we're
You came up with the 809, right? Okay.
yes.
So there should be relative costs?
Right, so there's, the district as proposed has 23,006 accessible front foot. So for any potential project, the estimated dollar amount could be divided by 23,006, and you get a cost per front foot.
Okay, and that total is part of the packet, or the memo that you.
It is, yes.
Okay, and then is there a vis-à-vis timeframe as far as quality and endurance? So the medium project could last 5 to 10 years?
Yeah, that's on here. That is on here.
You can just take this when you get up and then.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, and again, that's under ideal conditions, it might last longer. We always hope that it lasts longer, but we want to be realistic with our.
You can take it.
With our assessments.
And we're an open book. I mean, you know, we can have you one of your guys on our committee if you'd like. If it's just work together and get it done. And we'll be glad, as I said, to be on your committee. Yes, sir.
Stephen Orensardi, Bulldog Records Management, 17,000 15 Mile Road. First, I appreciate the city council's time today. I appreciate that very much, and your willingness to work with all the business owners. The question I have today is, I was at the October meeting, and I brought up a very specific issue, and we were told at that meeting that was going to be looked into. And that was the entrances of the industrial park, because they're on, the one's on the county road at Kelly, that's going to be taken care of, and the other's on 15 Mile, which is also a county road, I believe?
Yes.
Okay. And the entrance, neither of those entrances are designed for trucks, and they're very unsafe. And I had recommended that that you look at that up the chain and see if they were willing to fix that, because that would fix, 2 chunks of the industrial park that we wouldn't have to fix without our dollars. So was there any activity on that whatsoever.
The only thing I can tell you, the question when I asked about the entrances off a 15-mile road in the main thoroughfares is obviously it's controlled by the county. And if the county felt it needed to put a turn lane in, that they would have to take that person's property to make it more of an easement to have it, you know how they turn in and to make the right-hand turn?
Well, that property isn't, I mean, I own that piece of property.
Right.
Actually, but technically I don't.
Right.
Because you should be able to tell us that
That's what
60
the
feet
county
of
would
that.
do. The county
I
would
ha-
have to decide to do that, to tear it out, to do a turn lane in there.
I'm required to maintain that property because it's adjacent to my property, but it isn't my property. It's the county's property. It's 60 feet from the center line of 15 Mile. So the room is there to do it. And as I said in the October meeting, if you remember, there's tons of accidents there. Public safety could probably give you all the statistics on it.
I know I've been on a few.
All right, and the trucks drive over the property. The entrance doesn't, I service industrial parks all over Michigan, and it's sad to say our industrial park probably rates very low on how industrial parks look in this whole state, and our entrances they're just not designed for trucks. So the trucks are going over the curbs, over the grass. I know that might not be one of the issues here, but I'm bringing up, you asked for recommendations, I'm bringing this up as a recommendation because
I wrote it down. It's
if
on.
that gets fixed, they're not going to be able to fix it without doing part of commerce. They're not going to be able to fix it without doing part of Malin. And that, every foot helps you, right?
I do know for sure, talking to them, we have to get their okay. And they do have funds that they give to the cities.
Absolutely.
Usually it's a matching type thing, right, Mike?
Usually 50% match.
Yeah. Yeah, so the question has been asked. We've got kind of an answer. Like I said, they said that the land would be taken, which if it's theirs, it doesn't matter, but sometimes it's not always theirs. And it is a safety factor. But again, that was built in the 70s and, wasn't looked at as traffic that we have today.
Right.
15 was only 2 to 3 lanes back then, too.
I have a suggestion also, which I will do it, and I know the rest of we all wrote it down. I literally am writing all these amazing ideas down. The county commissioners who you vote for, regardless of where you live, if you live in Macomb County, are the ones that make the decisions on the roads for the county. So they have phone numbers, they have staff, they have meetings. Get all of the information to them as well so that they will hopefully see the importance of redoing the entrances on their property. And we will commit to also request that both through our people who have sources and then us who are in the cheap seats when it comes to county government.
Well, and this is a win-win-win all the way across. I mean, anything that makes the roads of Fraser safer for everyone that travels the roads is a win for everyone. And I'm not sure I want to disagree with too much up here, but the residents of Fraser do use the industrial park. Many of them are employees of our companies. So I think it's misinformation to say that the only people that are using the industrial park roads are the business owners and.
Yeah, it was the legal determination by the assessor, we didn't make that
us.
determination at all.
And as a matter of fact, your statement, I will actually call Candace Miller again this week and see what the process would be.
Right. And I brought this up at the October meeting. That's why I was asking. And I think it's an important thing. And I think it may be low-lying fruit that's available for you to, just, the way I just look at it is every foot that we can do, that someone else can do for us, and it's a win for the county too. Because the county wants a safe entrance to the industrial park.
Yeah.
Being on that corner, I can tell you, I can't count the number of times I've seen accidents there. And some of them have been very bad.
Well, they kind of, I feel they owe Fraser an awful lot with the traffic, with the sinkhole and the maintenance that's been going on for
Made
the
national news
last
for
5
bad
years,
reasons.
so.
Well, some of it we might even be able to take advantage of. They're going to have to do some work on
Right.
those roads right there when that is done.
That's what I was just going to ask Mr.
And you can
Bigger
tie it
on,
into that.
Supposed to be done
to look into that.
this month.
Finally, the obvious, every business owner here, I think, would agree with me. We have a lot of challenges. This one is added to our challenges, but we have the challenges, we had the challenges to survive through COVID. We had the challenges of the inflation costs that our businesses are affected with. We have supply chain issues. We have, labor shortage issues. There are a lot of issues that we deal with, and I'm not saying that you're not aware of those, but, things like this, they're real, and they affect a company's decisions and their ability to survive. And I appreciated Kathy's message as she left in the beginning. We want to be part of the lifeblood of Fraser. We want to be organizations that can be relied on, but our shoulders are only so wide. They can only carry so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I can remember when Fraser, growing up here, softball was the biggest thing in the county, and all the businesses would sponsor all our teams all the time. So, you know, times have changed, though. It's hard to get a baseball team together. Yes, sir.
Mark Kowal from Grossell Tool Company, 34190 Dorica. We've been in the park since 1990, I believe. I do want to say, as we discussed in our meeting, the assessment figure is absolutely unacceptable to us. There is no way we could afford to pay that, plain and simple. So we don't agree with that. There's something, we have to come up with something other than that. I did want to ask, did you say they're going to do Kelly
Yes.
for sure in the fall?
Yep.
And are they going to be done with 15? Because like now they're like at Klein, a little bit past Klein, putting in those big,
Well, the construction and reconstruction and fixing 15 is complete, that I was told, but the sewer is not complete yet.
because the traffic there is still quite bad. And recently, when they patched from the corner of Kelly and 15 to Groesbeck, getting in and out of the sub was terrible. I can't imagine if Kelly is being redone and Malin is inaccessible, and the only way in and out is Bennett and Commerce, that's going to be chaos. I mean, it's going to be terrible. Nobody wants to see Kelly fixed more than me because I drive it every day and it's tearing my car up. But I really see it's going to be a big issue if they're still working on 15 and doing Kelly.
No, it's part of the good plan. You have to have a good plan. Do it, because it will be a mess with Kelly Road.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to affect not only the trucks going in and out, just the everyday traffic in that area. But
That's a
because
county,
that's the county,
that's a
I
county
understand
issue.
that, but I
Yeah.
We're just happy they're doing it.
That's the
We
first
appreciate that, yeah.
that's the first I heard that they're doing it, so I am glad that they are doing it, if they are. Other than that, like I say, I agree that with the group that we do not want to see the assessment put on us without there being further discussion. And when you're talking about doing the roads and that, and I'm assuming they're going to do the sewers and the drains as well. In this past year, I've had 2 catch basins in my parking lot collapse. One collapsed when a snowplow was driving over it, and fortunately, the driver didn't get hurt, but scared the heck out of him. And then another one. So at a cost of about $10,000, we rebuilt 2 catch basins in our parking lot, and I see you guys are doing a couple in your parking lot. And I've noticed there's quite a few in the industrial complex. That's the storm drain,
Yes, I believe those are all the storm drains.
and is it just the age that they're all seem to be happening now, or does it have anything to do with the patch they did on the streets or the work they're doing on 15?
I gotta believe it's the age, yeah.
Yeah, it is the age of the sewer, and I received a call from a business asking about that particular issue. We do have storm sewer included in our estimate. Basically, everything that's under the road now, we're recommending that it be replaced. While we were on the phone, I pulled up sewer videos that were done over the last maybe 5-6 years ago, and just to kind of confirm my suspicion, there were multiple cracks in all parts of the pipe. It certainly warrants removal and replacement if we're going through all the effort of redoing the road. So that's again, that's our opinion. That's why we feel that the road needs the treatment that it does. Part of the reason.
The last statement I would like to make is we have a governor in this state that has ran 2 times on fix the roads, fix the damn roads.
Yeah.
And we have a president that on a coherent day, he talks about infrastructure. I didn't vote for either one of them, but there's no state or federal money available to fix this. This is huge infrastructure.
Well, I did bring up, and I was at the State of Michigan Municipal League meetings, and the money that the administration has currently approved, the IRA called, that money's not going to be available until 2025 to start applying for that, is what I was told. So,
You can in 18 becomes.
yeah, it's possible. It goes to show they passed it a year ago, but it's still monies for communities. First, they got to give it to the state of Michigan and how much each state gets, and the state has to divide it up then between cities. So it's a long application process, but you can't even apply for it yet. So as soon as we do, I'm sure we will be applying for it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Greg Fritz. We have a few buildings in the park, but one address is 33957 Riviera. I first want to thank everybody for your time and for consideration for the roads. I think one thing we would say is we definitely have a point of alignment that they're fairly impassable. I may have had employees with shattered windshields, shattered back things just from hitting potholes in the wintertime. So that's pretty significant. I guess a few questions. Going back to the bond issue, are you saying you can't issue a general obligation bond for the City of Fraser to fix infrastructure?
No, I'm not saying that. It's just we go through a bonding process, through a bonding agent. They're the ones that shop out the bonds, and there are state and I think even possibly federal restrictions on what they are allowed to invest in with municipal funds.
I'm a little familiar with municipal finance. There's a huge array of municipal finance things available. So, I mean, if there's something we can help out with, I used to work in investment banking, certainly can help try to put you in touch with people for that. But I do think, like the millage that's being proposed this summer, that would make a pretty big difference on the initial hit for people. My second question is, do you know what the tax base is for this industrial park? Like, what are we paying each year to the city?
As a whole, I don't have it in front of me, but Ken sent me some information.
Okay, so I added it up. I took the time. It's fairly boring, and I like spreadsheets. It's around $3 million. Is that right? Property taxes and added it up. So I guess the one thing that's perplexing to me
3 million is what you contribute?
every year.
That'd be way higher.
No, it's more than that.
$60 million budget, or $14 million budget that is.
Does that include the water and everything else? I'm talking about just strictly.
Oh, yeah, we're not talking about the water. That's a
Well,
whole separate
It's high,
issue.
but I don't know that it's, I don't know, valid. Okay, you just took the bill.
So either way, if we could just settle up on that, I guess in my mind, I'm trying to understand the idea that the residents or the city as a whole, we're paying the city as a whole for property. I mean, do we get a discount versus like a residential property tax or? Because everyone's paying in according to assessed value, I believe. So what we're saying, if I understand you properly, is that we cannot use citywide funds to fix this park, even though we're paying equally in.
No. We cannot assess a special tax citywide. We can, the funds that we contribute are citywide funds. Those would come from the general fund and the road fund and wherever else we're gonna, but we can't have our residents share the burden of the additional tax that you would get the pleasure of sharing. The law doesn't allow it.
Which
I'm telling you right now, I didn't mean, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to, because I love the questions. I don't think legally we can do mail-in alone. The only, you know who will pay for mail-in? Whoever abuts mail-in. And the cost of mail-in is?
4.8 million.
4.8 million divided by, add up the linear footage, and that's how much it'll be.
Still 809.
Is it? No, it wouldn't be 809 because it's less people, but it's going to be over 500 a foot. It's going to be a lot because you took 130 and narrowed it down to 20. So
So is that state law or is that local law? So state law.
State law. No, trust us, we would have changed the law.
You can do the other roads in Fraser with residents' money, but not ours?
No, they're voting on a special bond to get money for their roads. And if it doesn't pass, we don't get to bond it.
So that doesn't impact our taxes?
Correct.
No.
But we couldn't do a special bond for strictly the industrial park, that's what you're saying?
In terms of voting? Well, you don't have a right to vote, that's the problem.
Well, the people that work at the company often does. So I guess I'm just asking, is that even a possibility?
To have everyone would get to vote, so all the residents would get to
So
vote.
the
on
city
if
would
the-
vote on an industrial park millage the way they're voting on a millage for the rest of the city?
I have no idea. You don't
Maybe
have
that's
to
something
have
we
that
can
vote,
discuss like down the
but
road.
you want the residents to vote on if you should get your roads fixed? So you want the residents to decide
But
what tax you
what-
pay? Because
what-
that's what they would be deciding.
Okay, but what percentage of taxes do we contribute to the city now?
No. They can't. The vote would be if you guys should have this SAD. That's what they would vote on.
Okay,
You
but
don't-
we're
no
not doing,
offense, you
we're
don't
not
want them
doing
to
that in
vote
the
on
form
it.
of a millage, though. That's not my understanding. You're not issuing a bond to do this right now. You're just saying, here's your bill for, over the next 3 years, you pay $809 a linear foot, right?
No, we're purchasing bonds to do this.
You are.
And you would pay them over 10 years
Okay.
under this proposal.
So it is a 10-year bond now.
And that
you
can be
don't have to
changed.
vote on that. We vote on that.
Yeah, we need over 50% who would really want to do it, but we want to make sure we do everything, try to satisfy everybody.
Okay.
50% is still not good enough.
Understood. No, I appreciate that. It's just more points of clarification.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if there's other contacts on the municipal, other things send them to us.
Please.
Absolutely.
Hello, everyone. My name is Caitlin Fox, and I'm here on behalf of Trinity Tool Company. We are at 34600 Commerce Road, as well as 3590 Commerce. As a resident of the Fraser Industrial Park for over 50 years, I think it is safe to say that we have financially contributed to Fraser in a significant way. We have always been loyal and committed to the city, always paid our taxes and dues with no questions asked. With this being said, the proposal at hand is absolutely absurd. This is no way to treat the industrial park residents and business owners after decades of contributions to the community. We bring much needed traffic and business to the city, something that you and the city have greatly benefited from. I am not here to demean or undermine the work that you have done, just to express the damage the special assessment will do to our company, but that of each and every one in the industrial park. This assessment will cause our property taxes to triple, something that we simply cannot afford. If you were in our position, would you be able to afford that? Assessing the industrial sector will destroy your city and your companies, the companies that have given you the lifeline to maintain and develop your streets and services of Fraser. We want to be good partners, but will not be paying for the roads. We, as an industrial park, have kept the city well-funded and going for 7 decades. Charging the commercial residents is not the answer. We have already paid for the roads in Fraser with our residential and commercial taxes. What research exactly has been done in regards to federal, state funding? Have you been able to get anything from the state or at the federal level?
Not at this time, we haven't.
No.
Nope.
Not a single penny?
None.
Okay. I also just wanted to add one little quick thing. So earlier we were talking about communication and how we had all of these earlier meetings. So I handle every single piece of mail, every check, every bill, every notice that comes through my office. My grandmother goes to the post office every morning at 11:30 to say hi to Joe and open up our P.O. boxes. We go out to the mailbox every day, twice a day. Not once did I receive a notice about any meeting other than our previous one that I thankfully was able to attend, so I was able to hear what actually was going on with the roads. Obviously, that has nothing to do with the cost of the roads. I just wanted to share that. I know little old Trinity Tool Company may not have been on everyone's radar, but the communication would have been nice. I also wanted to leave you with one last thought. If you were in our position, what would you do? If you had been paying taxes to the City of Fraser for over 5 decades, and you were slapped in the face with a special assessment bill that was tens of thousands of dollars each year in added expense, what would you do? Because I know I myself am asking, where have these payments gone towards? What have they gone towards? Because I know one thing that it has not gone towards is the new roads. What have they gone towards? Schools, parks, landscaping, lighting?
Part of it?
Schools.
Schools.
Okay.
Just,
Not schools, not library. Well, not library after 2017.
So if they're not going towards, obviously, our roads, as it's very evident, what did they go towards? Other roads in the community?
in the city.
Right?
Okay.
And some have, I mean, we've done spray patching recently. That was how much?
500.
500,000. So some of, we're doing the best we can with what we have to.
No, and I totally get it. I just, it was just a thought thinking that we've been here for so long, we've done so much, paid so much towards the city, yet we have never felt the benefits of those tax payments, at least.
A big one that we.
Yeah.
It's half the budget.
Sure.
Right, half the budget.
That's half our budget every
That's
year. is
something
public.
where you.
Right, no, and we're
used to
so
call
thankful, for
911.
sure.
We have that public safety.
And to get the
amount of
snow,
officers that we need.
DPW,
No
snow
plowing.
plowing.
For sure.
There's lots of money that goes into it indirectly. You might not
Right.
see it or appreciate it every day,
Exactly.
but it does. There
But nothing
is
went towards our roads.
In the budget,
In the industrial park.
Right.
and the budget is online.
A fire truck in the fire bay is $1.4 million right now.
Okay.
For a fire truck. So.
Well, I just wanted to share our thoughts because I know that, yes, I'm speaking for myself and our company, but I also speak for every single person who is in the industrial park because we all feel the same way. Not a single person, as we've all said throughout this whole time, want to be paying the special assessment at that level. Not a single person. So thank you for your time.
Big and small are all important.
No, for sure.
Yes, sir.
Hello, my name is Vic Barbu. I'm at 33870 Baghdad Riviera Road. Yes. I've actually had
I love it.
I've actually had truck drivers say that our road is like Baghdad. So, but I guess I was going to go in and repeat a lot of the same things. I don't want to do that. As a business, one of the things that we have to look, obviously, is our costs. And I'm not going to go back on time of where's all the money that's been paid. My understanding is that, first off, I've only been in my building for 5 years. I was leasing it since 2010. My tax bill went up about 40%, 50% after it was reassessed. And I got the explanation and so forth why. As much as any business owner, I even took it up to the city council, had a meeting during COVID. So I wasn't able to do anything with that. But in the end, I'm surviving as a business. The assessed tax now, in terms of the roads and so forth, it would make it very difficult. But one of the things I wanted to bring up, I know a lot of cities are dealing with this, a lot of businesses. I'm not against any union. I'm not against General Motors or Fords. But some of these costs, the pension funds that these cities have for their city workers are becoming a larger and larger burden. And I hate to say this, but that's something that needs to be looked at. That really does. I mean, I'm a business. I can't afford to pay 401ks to my workers or match theirs. If you guys remember when there was chaos at Lansing, part of the reason was because of that. And part of the reason why Wisconsin had chaos was because all of a sudden a lot of the government workers were starting to cut back on some of their benefits that a lot of private companies had to make these necessary cuts. That is something that, in my opinion, you can't go back, so to speak, and talk about what happened in the past, but I think you guys going forward, you guys have to be better stewards of the money that's coming in. We have to be more efficient with the money. Because, again, my understanding is we're 40% of the tax base of Fraser, the businesses in that park. I didn't even realize it was that high. When I heard that, honestly, my blood boiled when I thought about how bad the roads have been. So with that being said, I congratulate the open dialogue that we've had. I know, give us a little bit more time like what we talked about in our meetings. We're looking at different options and so forth, but we want to work together with you. Thank you very much.
And this council, just to let you know, they've actually been proactive where they, I don't think we give any more full retirements out anymore. Where the old days, everyone got retirements, full everything. So we've really cut back on a lot of all that stuff. And even in the old days, when I started here as a firefighter, I think we had 54 people. Now we're 29.
We have more people retired than we do employed.
So, yeah, so
And that's the problem.
unfortunately, we do have to, those are promises, legacy costs and contracts promised to those people, and we have to keep them. And we are on a plan with the state and the government to start paying all these funds, and we actually put more money into that.
In that area, I think honestly, a lot of the cities can and should ask the federal government for aid in that aspect. The way GM was bailed out and Ford was bailed out by the federal government.
We actually
There
do have a
is.
bond. Yeah, we actually have a bond that we're going for. Isn't it like $1 million, $1.5 million?
Not a bond, it's a.
Not a bond, I'm sorry,
Money
grant.
coming from the government
Grant.
for that.
There is something
apologies.
Pension
like
relief.
that coming down the pipe, hopefully.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
We're doing whatever we can.
I agree that the legacy costs are really strangling the city and what it can do. I
strangling almost all
100%.
cities.
I work for the county. When I came in, I get a 401k. I think that's the way it should be, because then it gives the employee more flexibility. But, police and fire, they've always been traditional union, but the sweetheart deals, I agree, those need to end because it is choking the city. We're too big, too long, and now that we're right size, we won't see those benefits till down the road, till we're probably all retired, but at least it's going in that right direction. But I 100% agree with you. But that's part of the problem, at least our small city has, is because we have these legacy costs around our neck. It really limits what we can do for roads, for other things that we want to do. So, me personally, I agree with you 100%. But we got to deal with the realities that we got to deal with, but knowing going forward that we're smarter doing those decisions going forward.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tim Kraus, representing Enmark Tool at 18100 Cross Lane. I just wanted a little clarification on the special assessment. As far as if we only were to do the entrance, that only they would pay? Is that what I understood you say?
We got to find out more.
Yeah, we had to find out, but it's usually a
Because I do
50-50
believe my
match.
wife handles SADs for a township. And within that township, it's proportional that if one portion is done, everybody benefits from that. So it's got to be spread to those that are benefiting from it. So therefore, everybody would have to pay proportionally, with the burden being borne mostly by the ones that it benefits the most at the entranceway. So I guess I'd just like some clarification on that.
That's what we're
so
going to get
that-
clarification.
Yeah, so that those of us that are not on the entranceway are going to be thinking that we're not going to have to pay.
Correct.
But I do believe we will have to.
Okay, well, we would definitely get all the facts before we would say, and we would like, obviously, again, the buy-in to say, yeah, let's do it.
Right.
Well, you're going to know what your number is if we only do a few roads. Before we vote on it, you're going to know per parcel, just like we let you know per parcel at the last meeting over the objection of some people. We wanted you to know what it is before we do it. You'll know, the lawyers will sign off, the assessor will sign off before we do anything. Because I don't know, I'm just going off of what he told us, and my gut is that law is really tight.
I guess also my other question would be, have we contacted our representative in Lansing, the representative for Fraser, have we contacted her to see about getting some help? Have we contacted John James to get some help? I mean, there's got to be avenues out there. I think we just need to be a little more diligent in seeking these people out and finding those funds and getting them involved. If all of us as owners need to contact John James, contact our representative, then maybe that's what we need to do. Just in numbers, we need your help. So, once again, like others, I appreciate your time, and I'm on board with everybody else that, this 809 is got to die.
Just need some clarification. I'm Pat Fox from Consolidated Document Solutions, 17601 Malin. The article that came out today that the residents are voting on is a $15 million bond. Is that correct? In August 8th? But this is where I need some clarification, because in this article it says, it's all based on the PACER rating, so it won't be based on favoritism of any road of being special, it says. There's nothing determined how it, in terms of what projects it would go towards. And it says the money could potentially benefit the proposed repair streets in the Fraser Industrial Park. That goes to your point right there. I mean, you said the residents, their vote, this is the residents' bond, 15 million. Carnegie's saying the roads are determined by the PACER rating, correct?
Mm-hmm. Part of it.
Okay.
The PACER rating is
But
part
we're
of it.
talking about the $15 million.
Right, I know, but I'm just saying.
That isn't part of us, right? That's not part of not this assessment that we're talking about.
I understand, but I
This
just
is
want to
what-
make sure I'm being really clear that a PACER rating is not the end-all, be-all.
Okay.
There are other components of it. So it could be if,
They were not using, according to this, I'm not blaming you, I'm just
No,
saying.
no,
this
no,
is
I
an
know, I
article
just
I'm
wanna make
reading.
Who wrote the article? We didn't write it.
yeah.
It's, C&G or
Oh,
whatever.
okay. well,
Okay.
But they're saying that in it doesn't show favoritism, and it could potentially go to the industrial park.
I think that was a misquote then, if it's a quote, because, I don't know. I have a real, I'm sorry for anybody who's a writer and in papers, and I just find everything, the integrity is lacking in any of our news outlets. Drastically lacking.
Yeah, but you would know, I mean, our roads, and you said it, Mr. Carney.
Our, this thing we're working on is for you guys, and that was for the residential people, and that's it.
And it was only 2.5 million a year.
We
is what
divided
would
it up in
generate.
2 sections.
It's not 15 million up front like this one. It's very, it's.
Right,
three-
it's separate money, I get
yeah,
that.
Yeah, 2 different bonds. But I think.
It's over a
if I
12-year
understand you,
period, though,
you're
too.
correct, that in theory, so what I said was very different. In theory, that money could go anywhere in the city.
Okay.
Which would include the industrial sub.
That's
That is-
good news.
I believe. We'd have to get clarification.
So
on
if
that.
they-
But
if the
what
re-
we can't do is take this expense.
Gotcha.
And share it.
Okay,
with
so
the
if
residents.
the
And
residents-
dedicate it to just you.
I understand. If the residents vote and say, okay, yeah, we need to fix our roads,
Mm-hmm.
and they vote yes on this, that potentially means that we could get some help out of that, I'm assuming, from this article, unless it's incorrect.
On its face, that is, I believe.
Because our roads are
correct.
in that 48% category. I mean, they're all red.
Yeah.
Oh, there's no doubt they need to be replaced.
Yeah, actually Fraser has about $91 million worth of road repairs to do.
So if anybody wins the $1 billion lottery and wants to share, we will not say no.
The only thing I wanted to mention is that in the last meeting, that was the first number I heard when it was 809. And I just, how did you guys determine 90% would be going to the industrial park and 10% coming from you guys? I mean, you say you want to work together, that puts us in an adversarial position right off the bat.
Like I said, that number was way late in the game. So even I was surprised, and that's why when the last meeting, we had people saying, my taxes tripled, I couldn't believe it.
Well, I mean, I would even question even why bringing it to us at that point, because if I saw that number, and I'm going to my best client, and I do this today, I mean, we've had some price increases that come through, I don't know about you guys, but some price increases that came through that were just ridiculous, that I was embarrassed to give quotes to. I'm a printer, and we had paper shortages, and it was a situation where I said, this is what I'm getting from my supply chain. We can look at other different stocks, everything. I was just totally embarrassed because my lifeline is to my MEMIX and all my clients. Some of my clients are in here. And and everybody's accountable to somebody.
Yep.
And that's my question is I got to say, I was boiling in that last meeting because it felt like, well, yeah, you're 40%, but we're going to throw this at 90% of the cost. What? Are you kidding me? That to me was unacceptable, and I'll be the one. I'll litigate it. I'm the one in the meeting said, I'm not going to put up with that. And we would litigate it if I had enough people willing to back it, so. But
No,
I like the tone tonight. It's a lot better, and I appreciate it.
As I said, being honestly, I didn't know that number till late and seen it, and I left the meeting the same thing, saying, this ain't gonna work.
That
mean,
number
that
came
night-
after the 8. We had to start with a number. We had to put a number out there.
Get it done. We're willing to work with you. It's just, we got to work.
Notice, we've all
gotta be working
thrown out
together.
numbers that are very different from the 500,000.
We're in the middle
Very
of the audit as well, so
Yeah, we
you know,
didn't
we
know. We had to
wanted
wait
to
for
give
our
a number
audit.
that we know we could actually.
Hey, I look at it
Yeah,
as it
but,
works,
you
we
know.
got everybody together, now let's fix the problem.
Let's also confirm that vote for August 8th with the residents. If at all potential, we could get some money out of that. It would be appreciated.
Absolutely. Thank you. All right, I'll give you 30 more seconds.
Well, according to my watch, I have 1 minute and 15 seconds. Is it possible, legal, whatever, for the city of Fraser to take a percentage of the taxes that we pay and store that away for road repairs in the future?
Well, we've tried to do that in the past, and some labor decisions came adverse to us that required us to put money
hard.
towards other things.
Guarantee anything.
It's very hard to do that, but we do get money every year from the state and the roads, from taxes and all that, and we do try to use that as best we can to split it up and do work here, do work there, do work there.
Yeah, because I mean.
Not a ton.
No, and at 40% of the plus of the tax base, it would seem like we deserve to have something put away if it can be done. So I just-
No, that's,
Good. Because otherwise we'll be in the
we
same boat.
tried.
You know?
We tried.
This is a legal issue?
It's,
Budgets are just very flexible and, because changes, you know, things can change, you know, some breaks down or we got to buy a new fire truck. There's a lot of variables, so.
Levin could probably,
Yeah, she could.
Elaborate.
So there are tools at the state level where you can have a tax increment. So you can set up a district where you have a tax increment, you'd be paying the same taxes all along, but it would be frozen at whatever the level is when you start this tax increment district. It would be frozen and all those additional monies would be set aside for some future need just for that district. So say you set up a tax increment for this subdivision, for the whole industrial park, something like that. You'd still be paying your taxes that would increase every year. It's just all that incremental money would get put into a fund, and that could be used for future improvements for the roads. So, you know, it might be, you look at a 20-year one, and then at the end of the 20 years, you know, do you have enough money? Is that something that the city would be able to supplement with to be able to do the roads at that point? But I think now we're kind of looking for a solution at this point in time, so it's kind of,
Just thinking in the
we're
future.
beyond that right now.
It sounds like it's more like the lottery general fund that they can use it for.
You got it.
Schools, right? Is that what I'm hearing? That's what I'm hearing. So, all right, thank you.
Councilwoman Sutherland.
Well, real quick too, so I mean, in the spirit of collaboration, right, if we're all going to put our heads together and talk about that, I think exactly what your point is what was missing 30 years ago.
Yes.
Right, so if we want to be good stewards of people in 2053, right, maybe that's baked into what we do. So yep, we're going to figure out a way to not only fix what's going on now, what needs to be repaired, but do we want to help people 30 years from now? Otherwise, our kids are going to be sitting here talking about how much they love Fraser and that they've been here forever with this same historical infrastructure problem. Because that's what we're doing right now. We're paying those costs from 30 years ago. We're solving for problems for decisions that were made 30 years ago, which, you know, we can't, I'm not trying to play the blame game, but that's going to be part of that recipe then if we want to set businesses, residents, everybody up for future success so that if your company's been here for 50 years, it could be here for another 50 years. And you know that your roads will get fixed in 30 years and that we're not going to have the same conversation, or our kids, because I'll be on a beach somewhere drinking, hopefully. But you know what I'm saying?
Nursing home?
Maybe you. Wow, ouch.
I'm teasing. You're not that much younger than me.
Okay.
Okay.
Anybody else?
Chris Chirgalonis, 34155 Riviera. Speedy Metals. We opened in '08, so we did get the tax abatement, so we are part of the company that started when everything kind of hit the rock bottom. And we're still here, and, you know, everything's good. Obviously, the 809, you know, throw that out the road. But the question I have is the spray patch you did, was that 500, 100, or was it 50 and 50? Because I remember at the one council meeting, it was supposed to be 50,000 and then another 50,000 in this year? Do you know?
I don't know offhand.
Dang it.
What we paid last
I think we talked about 100,000 for that in 250. The joint repairs and the other sub were about.
Oh, I apologize.
Okay, so it wasn't a half a million, okay.
French Creek was that amount, yeah.
Okay, because I was going to say, if it was a half a million and Malin is
My
more than half.
apologies.
Okay, no, that's fine, I guess. And, what was the other? I think that's about it.
You're all right.
No, I came up with two things, but the half a
Come
million
back.
kind of
We'll reserve time.
threw me off real quick. And I guess the other thing I want to say is just kicking the can down the road. It's a bad idea, but if we have money coming in and it's 6%, 8%, 10% more, but somebody, the federal infrastructure, the governor is going to put in $4 million, obviously we're making money back on that. We're not coming to a conclusion in the next 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks, months, right? I mean, we're looking 2024, January by the time we, you know, get together. We're in a row, you're in a row, we're having meetings, we're getting everything done. I know it's tough when everybody's up for reelection in 2024, but if the money's not available till 2025, I don't know how that impacts anything, but that's
That's the problem.
And it's
We lost.
unknown. It's unknown, too. Are we
But,
going to get
if
it
the
or are we
cost
not?
goes
you
up,
know?
you know, in a year, the 809 is, you know, 815. Well, you guys come up with another 2 million. Well, now it's 609, right? We're just kind of juggling back.
Bingo, we're just.
Yeah, we're just arguing every year, but I think getting together and, you know, sitting, say, hey, I got this money from the government, I got this money from here, right? You know, in reality, it's the best solution is just, you know, kicking the can. I mean, as long as, hey, we have a goal, we're going to work together, let's work together and continue to meet, and here's the sewer repair, here's how much this is going to cost. We can get money for the sewer, we can get money for this. You know, I think there's more common ground here than there was.
Oh, 100%. That's what this was.
That's
We
why
have
we
a
wanted
goal,
this.
fix your roads. Here's our opening because we don't know, and we had to start from zero. And we all said 809. Now where do we go? So what are the alternatives and what is the most cost effective? Because unfortunately, it isn't just for tomorrow or next year. It's for 10 years down the road and 20 years down the road, because even at $10 million, that's $10 million. If it has to be redone in 5 years and you're paying it off over 10 years, that's that sofa that you bought from that rent-a-center that you're throwing out before you're paying off.
And the spray patch it did a lot better than the
Good.
guys just out there shoveling.
Oh, good.
That was, you know, I mean, those kids, you know, I feel sorry for them. They're getting a call, and the DPW guy gets a call, hey, you didn't do commerce. I seen you guys coming down and doing Riviera.
good.
And it worked, so, you know, at that amount, I think it's
Okay.
a stopgap for,
That's good to hear.
you know.
Right, till
That
we
was
can
our
get
purpose.
everything lined up.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean,
That was the goal.
That was the goal, is to at least get you something right now to start the process and then do this.
Yeah.
Have this conversation, work together, collaborate, find an answer.
And do you guys know if that was a 1 year or a 2 year thing that was approved?
We split it over 2 budget years.
Two budget
Okay, so it
years.
was one
but it was
cost, and it was
close
over
together,
2 years.
yeah.
Okay, because I seen the council when you guys talked.
Yep.
about it.
Yeah.
And you guys know more than anybody that raw materials
Yeah.
through the roof. So if we wait 2 more years to even do anything, we're just wasting our money because it just went up. I mean, it's gone up
Exponentially.
15% since we started this project.
That's why we want to be proactive and try to get as much done at today's dollars than less
And next
down.
week's, but if
than-
there's,
right.
I mean, if.
I know,
the
it's
money
a
that's sitting
balancing
out there,
act, and
and
there's
you know, you can't touch that till 2025.
Well, and that's why we decided to do, push the vote up for the bond for our roads, because if we got approval from our neighbors, our community, to go ahead and move forward with that bond, we can get that pricing better than if we waited till November and then we're stuck with next year's pricing. So, you know, we're trying to get in early to get some cost savings for the residents as well on our regular streets. So that's why we decided, you know, we were kind of all like, oh, well, that's why we decided to do that vote in August rather than waiting till November.
I guess on a follow-up to the bond question, if somebody does kick in, say, hey, here's $8 million, right? Like we
Yeah.
found in the state of Michigan. Does that change the bond?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
significantly.
Takes yours
I
down.
mean, not the overall dollar, but they're like, oh, hey, you guys are putting.
Correct.
Takes everything.
Takes the
from down.
809 down.
It takes
Every
the 809
cent.
down, but does it take the percentage?
I said, hey.
Yeah.
Well, interest.
know somebody.
Lottery numbers.
Sometimes interest is different and everything.
Okay, but I mean, like if you're approved for that bond, you know, you're approved for that money, you just kick in, the state kicks in money, you guys kick in money, and then we kick in whatever the difference is.
Yeah.
That would be a perfect scenario.
Just-
Yeah, well,
Just to put some unfortunate realities on it, so the federal COVID money, and maybe, do you know those numbers off the top of your head? But, you know, the state of Michigan got, right?
We got 1 million.
You guys know. Guess how much the city of Fraser got?
1.5.
1.5 million.
And Fraser School's got 38 million.
So do the math on where we fall as a city. The school's got 38 million. But just so that expectations are realistic, every city's asking for money from the government for everything. And that awesome chunk of money coming from the federal government, 1.5 million. It's like,
I do have to, you know,
gut punch.
we have graded roads too, I mean, you know, that, you know, graded roads, phone calls, I mean, it's all gonna help.
I know.
So, you know, I think kicking the can down the road, I hate to say that, that's not a good business philosophy, but.
We agree.
That's what got us
In
here.
That's
reality.
what got us here, and we agree.
You know, but there was no meeting, you know, I mean, it's on Google, 2013, you know, it came up, nothing's down, my partner was, you know, nagging the road commission guys in 2016, 2017, wait, when are you guys gonna fix the roads, when are you gonna fix the roads? We got customers calling it, and, you know, we finally hear something, and, okay, well, we waited, you know, 9 years, what's another 2 years if there's money sitting out there, right?
It is.
You know, but I mean, nothing was done for 8 years, so we
I
might
know.
as well wait and work together for a year or two and hope and, you know, bang.
Hopefully, we'll work together way more efficiently.
Yeah, I think so.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening.
Jody Sparks, Fraser Grinding Company, 34235 Riviera, 33300 Groesbeck. Fraser's been there since 1962. I worked there, and I was in Fraser for 10 years, came back, and Mr. Lipsky, my uncle, passed away in 2020. In 21 of January, I bought the business and the buildings. And at the time, the taxes were $46,000 a year for everything. And I have 25,000 square feet in Warren, my business. I left there in the city of Fraser and started my business, came back. I purchased the company and the buildings. Well, 21, I figure I'd get a small cap, but it doubled from $46,000 to almost $80,000 for the two buildings. And this is my second year doing that. And I'm like, wow. And then on top of that, the letter with the roads at the 144 feet long at 809 is
Oh, yeah.
$16,000. I mean, I was in the meeting, and I don't understand it. It's doubling. I can understand if it goes up 10 or 20,000, but I paid last year 80. This year, come September, another 80. That's winter and summer. It's the same building. It's been there for 60 years. The business, Rudy was 1962, he incorporated 58 and 62 he incorporated. But it's been there for 61 years, and just in 1 year, it doubled. And I heard someone say, welcome to Fraser. I mean,
Yeah,
I
we
think I
don't do
contacted you, Mayor, about my Groesbeck to water for 20 years flooding there. And is the city of Fraser cannot afford its bills? Is that where we're at? Is that what I'm
No.
hearing?
No.
Is that what it is, or, I mean, I'm
Yes.
asking, no?
Well, I mean,
Yes.
I
Realistic,
mean, not to be, we've
is
implemented.
bankruptcy an option for the city of Fraser?
No, bankruptcy's not an
we're
option for anybody.
maintaining, but it's the legacy that's,
The legacy.
we have to keep paying and paying and paying more to keep that down. Otherwise, it just charges more, charges more, charges more.
So on the 129 residents here, we approximately, with me paying an extra 40,000, but everybody, what do we say, like 7 million a year in taxes for 129 residents?
Said 3 million.
Building owners, just
Three.
the building owners. And there's 14,000 residents in the city of Fraser. Just us 129 business owners. I mean, Rudy paid for, he had a lot of buildings, you know. Then you got the trucks coming in from all over the United States down to Rica, Riviera. You have Forcia, I mean, just big truckloads. I mean, everybody comes in, you know. The train comes through Fraser. I mean, it comes from all over, you know. there ain't some kind of tax, you can't tax them. I mean, I'm not trying to be naive, I'm just saying, you got all these trucks coming here tearing up the roads. I understand she said the garbage, but garbage trucks don't weigh much. When you get 4CO, it used to be Giddings and Lewis when Bush flew here in I worked there back in the day, and they had President Bush, and you had
yeah.
MAG, Giddings and Lewis, they moved out because the taxes were high, they went to Port Huron, across Hewler, but now that's a big company. So say we pay $7 million a year, the 129 residents. 10% of that couldn't go towards, even 5% over the next, what'd you say, 10 years for the tax on the roads?
You're talking about the bond? Yeah, the bond.
No, I'm saying I'm paying $116,000 for 144 feet. And everybody else got a lot more than me. I'm just saying, for all of us here, 129 residents paying almost $7 million a year. I don't understand. I mean, doubling, and nothing's happened to my buildings. It's the same building it was for 60 years, or it's 81, and it's doubled. I understand the cap, but not double.
Right.
I got that bill and almost fell over, you know? And then I hear go to our politicians. We all know nothing's going to happen. Our chances of all getting a lottery pool tonight and hitting millions to get money from the state, you can go whatever you want. I mean, I don't think it's about us, everybody here. I've been here, you know, in the city 20-something years, but I'm just saying there's a lot of other people been here long, and they've paid over years and years. And what is that? The city been here since 1895? Is that what that says? Mm-hmm. 1895. And you said $1.4 million for a fire truck, right?
Yes, sir.
Why couldn't we pay that million, like 10 years, like we have a car payment for 8 years, 10 years? You know what I'm saying? COVID's killed us. Our inserts, our coolant, our wages, I mean, everything to do with in the last 2 years. The corporate tax, it was under Trump, it was 30-something, now it's 40-something, you know what I mean? You want to borrow money commercially, it costs you 8%.
That's crazy.
I mean, it's for us, and then on top of $116,000 on $80,000 a year, that's another $10,000 a year. I mean, you're talking $100,000 a year just for me alone.
Mm-hmm.
For Fraser alone, not including there's a lot of other people, big, you got Healthmark, you got some big companies, 4C. What about Myers, all these people? No one contributed? There can't be, any.
I know they all pay their taxes, and Myers got no special things for them.
Just asking. I mean,
yeah. No, it's crazy. It's tough. We're trying to fix things. It's not easy. Working with the government, I tell you, is very, very difficult.
I don't
Michigan,
understand how
you know, but some of the local people, like Candace Miller and all that, they're very good about talking with us and talking with me. And you get the ones that really will help you out, but then some just, they say it, but then you don't hear from them, you know.
I was just asking, it's, for mine, I just want to know why mine doubled. And it stayed the same for 35 years.
Yeah.
Did you go to the assessing office?
Pardon me?
Did you go to the assessor? Okay, that's where you want to start.
Yeah,
with
but
that.
that didn't help. Well, we went at first, but it didn't help it, you know what I mean? Like you said, I mean, they assess it, it's like if you buy a new house for $500, but still, I just don't understand why, it doubled in 1 year.
Yeah, it's hard to figure out, but even in my neighborhood now, the people who are selling their houses and people move in, it's like it's gone from, $3,000 to $6,000, $7,000 for the, like, wow, I better not sell my house, it's just, I want to be able to afford somewhere else.
And another thing is, I understand about the residents, they have nothing to do with but for 129 people to pay that kind of money, that's a lot of money, $16 million, a lot of money. There's a lot of people in that meeting yesterday will go out of business because of it.
And small business make it work, and I consider most of
absolutely.
Fraser small business. I mean,
Small business makes it work. Why do we really have to spend that kind of money on the roads?
Yeah.
I mean, is it really?
Oh, we really don't, but we're trying.
There you go, right there.
Right.
There you go.
But then you have the roads you have.
Right.
So we've had them for 20. Chicken Joe, that his name was, had in 1997. I got 2 herniated in my back and my neck, and I drive down to Riviera. I've been doing it for 30 years down there. I was on Malin, and and it's a lot worse than a lot of other people. You know what I mean? But I see the trucks come. We got trucks, but.
I know. I know.
People cut through Malin. There's a lot of people, but it's just 129 residents and employees we have, and I don't think half of them live in the city of Fraser.
Fortunately, everything got let go way too long.
So there's no Chapter 11 for the city of Fraser. There's no nothing.
That has to be
That
approved by
does
the
more than
Like the
governor.
city of Detroit did.
The governor
$1 billion
approves
in
it.
bond fund.
If the governor
Or
approves
GM
it.
Chrysler.
Yeah, the governor would never approve that because there's only two cities in the whole state that are fully funded for their pension and
About
OPEB reserves.
reorganization.
They will not
Can't
let you.
voluntarily go into bankruptcy.
Nope.
You can like cut the wages, cut like our
I talked to, everybody is having the
everything's
worst
gone up.
time
All your
finding
tooling, Your
talent.
supplies, your gas, your.
Oh, yeah, but just finding
Your electric bill,
people.
I mean.
293-3100 extension.
We had even gone as far as some geotechnical investigation on James Pompo. Things, it's really driven up, I think everyone mentioned, the raw material costs.
Understand why the citizens of Fraser shouldn't chip in, because I'm sure that, I mean, I'm familiar with taxation without representation, but it's not.
Original goal to everybody work together meant everybody pay for it.
Yep.
Community, everybody. Why should?
City was gonna chip
residents
in.
not pay, we said in our committee. So we started this whole project.
So there's two different ways to get funding for roads. So there's an SAD, and that you can only charge to a specific area. And then the other do. You know, that really kind of circumvents the opportunity to be able to vote for it throughout the roads. And then I think one other thing I just wanted to touch on, talking about.
That is tax dollar money.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good questions.
Anybody else? Anybody else?
Anyone at all?
Since it's Ken again, can we Thank you, Ken. Thank you for your patience.
Call the meeting back to order.
Actually, I think if you were to just industrial parks in Macomb County. So Fraser doesn't have a revenue problem, they have a spending problem. What we need to do, in concluding this meeting, what I don't need asphalt, we want Class A, the best roads replacement. We deserved it, we've been waiting long enough, we want the best. 8-inch concrete, whatever it is, 12 available.
Boy, we have to put a plan together, and we can't commit to that until we actually start looking at our funds. We can take the $1 million we have.
Microphone.
I'm sorry. We can take the $1.7 million we have and put it in a road, but it's not gonna go very far. So we can start budgeting that as we did budget every year for roads and how much we do and how much we fix.
Because I know we're talking about options, but I'm going to tell you, just hearing the percentage of taxes that we pay for this city, and then to say, well, if you do Malin, all you people are going to pay. Well, that just grinds us with the money that we've paid for 25 years. So I'd like you to put together a plan to include us in the roads. Otherwise, let's move quickly. Let's either get funds, but I don't raise your money. You mentioned something about the city can't pay for our roads?
No.
Say,
The citizens cannot be assessed for your roads. The citizens.
right,
That's different.
but they can pay for French Creek and Fruhoff.
Well, that's a city road.
It's a city road.
So are the industrial parks. Those are city roads too.
Right.
It's a different
But
bond.
it's a different area.
For the industrial sub, I mean, you, in the very beginning, told you how much it costs to do 1 mile of your road. You say it again.
Over $1 million, yeah.
And that's 1 lane of your 3-lane roads.
And we have that already approved?
We only have 1.5 million per year for roads, I believe.
For the whole city.
For the whole entire city.
The whole city.
Oh, I see. For the entire city?
For the entire city.
And Ken, the budget is online. I encourage all the business owners to look at our budget, okay? Because we are open to suggestions of how we can do things. Just keep in mind, we do have unions. So sometimes even when we don't want to do specific things, we are made to do specific things. I'll just leave it at that. And look at our budget. If you guys have suggestions on where we can help trim up some stuff, we'll definitely hear from you. I say this to my team every single month. Any suggestions, any new ideas? We ask the citizens regularly, if you have something, everybody has things they hate, everybody has things that they want to complain about, but when you come with a complaint, bring a solution. Even if it might not work, bring a solution with you. That is how things get done. And that is how this city, at least this council, I can pretty much say, we are very collaborative. We want to fix things, and we may not agree, but at least we're throwing ideas back and forth, trying to change. And that's why we want to work with you guys to come to at least, we're all not going to be happy. Let's just face it. Neither one of us are going to be happy, right? If we were all happy, you guys would have paid it all. If you were happy, we'd pay it all. That's how life works. But we can come to an understanding and something where we both get what we want, which is to fix the streets. How we get there, we want your buy-in. So that's what this whole entire meeting's about and everything.
I know this has been well covered already, but for 25 years, we got to do a little bit better than what we've been doing, okay?
That's what we're trying to do.
We're trying. Another thing.
And there's a lot that people don't see is this city's never had pressure indicator valves in this city. And we were blowing water mains and water pipes all year, every year, 50, 60, maybe 100?
Mm-hmm.
That was a, $2.5 million project that we had to pay for. Guess what? Our brakes went down like 70%, 80%. So, but we had to bite the bullet. No one sees that money. We don't benefit from the money, but the city as a whole does, because now they're going to get good water service, the right pressures. Sterling Heights ain't going to make us blow all these lines, and so there's a lot that goes on besides roads and everything else, as you know.
And one more thing on a different note, like Jody just said, two people ago. When he bought his 2 buildings and the cap came off, that's the information I sent you. Back in the day, like a 20,000 square foot building, back when Fraser was good, the taxes were about max 26,000, 25, $1 a foot, a little bit over $1 a foot. Now, just so you know, you're tickling $2 a foot. There's nowhere in Macomb County that it's anywhere near $2 a foot. So thank God, when people buy buildings, for some reason, they never ask the assessor, hey, what are my taxes going to be? They never ask. Then they get their first bill, and they're like, my phone rings, and I just smile. And I go, you didn't ask before. I can't tell you. I got a listing. I can't tell you what they're going to be. Yeah. But Fraser's, the millage rate is just crazy. So good luck to you. Thank you.
What are we talking?
We're going to, okay. Good, thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Odell.
And Ken, to your point, I get you guys, a lot of you guys have paid taxes for years and years and years. And with the uncapping, everybody in the state of Michigan's under that same thing. If you had a family business that was there 40 years ago, your tax bill, you take on, it's going to go huge. My parents bought their house in '73. If I bought it from them, taxes would probably, almost triple because they're capped at how much they can go from 1973. So it sucks. Don't get me wrong. It's not, but everybody's in the same boat as far as that goes. With the money you paid over the years, I get it, but there's not a magical account to draw from it at this point. It's been spent on legacy costs. It's been spent on fire and police. It's been spent on roads. It's been spent, we only have so much to work with. We're going to try to get you the best number we can. You guys do your calls, reach out to your senators and congressmen and stuff. Hey, you can maybe twist some arms and get us some more money. We're open to anything we can do. I'm going to do the same. I know our county commissioner well. I know our state rep well. I'm going to be having conversations with them. What can we do? It's just there's going to be no magic bullet that's going to make everybody happy. Just know that we're working in good faith with you guys, that we want to get a solution. We want to get you good roads. You do deserve it. There's no doubt about it, but there's not anything that we can do to change the past mistakes. We can only look forward. And I'm not saying we don't recognize that you guys pay a lot of the bill. Well, not
immediately, but you can start fixing them in the next year or two.
Well, it depends what you determine by fix.
Yeah, define fix.
Because we only get 1.5 million for all the roads in Fraser.
Sections.
Yeah, but listen to what I'm saying.
1.5 million total.
Total for the whole city.
Keep it.
But anyways, so there's only so much that you can put to new roads, the way they should have been built, the way they should have been planned years ago. But we'll try the best.
Excuse me. Yeah,
You have to come.
we are. I talked to Mike Vigron about it already. I brought it up earlier. 15 Mile Road was an exact example of that.
Right, they'll do 40 yards and
Yeah.
it'll fix.
It's just-
You can do that in the industrial.
Just a long process. It ends up being almost double, but
But people will
we'll
be
see.
in business and they'll be paying your taxes.
We'll see.
And it doesn't necessarily fix the issues underground.
Yeah, because you got
That's the biggest
sewers
problem.
and all that too.
What's the main problem?
It doesn't fix the problems underground.
Your
Meaning your
sunken manhole
sewers, your
covers,
your
the storm
issues
drains.
with all the infrastructure for the drainage and everything. That is the main reason why we wanted to do the full tear out and get that all fixed and ready to go. They have all these new polymers and stuff like that, so that unlike the cement that kind of cracks and breaks, that new polymer stuff, that stuff sticks around for, I think the dinosaurs will be repeating by the time that stuff goes. So that's a big problem.
So then, my suggestion would be for the small little square of Fraser is to sell your parks and rec to the public, let them build.
And sell
something
parks, sorry.
We've got like 4 parks in Fraser.
Sell a park for
We have more,
$500,000, it's a one-time amount.
Then you'd lose those employees too, so there goes your legacy costs.
We don't have a recreation.
We don't have a
department now.
recreation department right now. We
Just
have
have a
2 people.
coordinator, yeah.
We have a coordinator and
No
part-timer.
And you can't, there's nothing you can do to give, because you're asking us to possibly go out of business and put 30, 40, 100
Again,
people out of
but we're not, though.
work.
We're not.
We're not. We have already told you, we've all said that, that's done deal. We're trying to figure out what's going to
I
work.
haven't heard the cost of pain from you.
We said that. We said that it was about 4 million.
1 million.
We're talking about 4 million.
We're talking upwards of 4 million. We gave that number.
Yeah. Originally, it was less than that because we didn't have our audit back yet. We needed to know what money we had
Now
available.
you're able to chip in 4 million.
Correct.
That's
What
my
we said- That's the suggestion, and it has to be
over
voted
the
on by this
3
council.
years, and we would be making cuts. Know that it is not, we don't have $4 million in the bank. Based on our audit, and Ms. Levin can provide this information, we have just over $1 million comfortably that we could commit. I was proposing, you know what, I'm going to put off a new backhoe or police car or doing other roads, and I'm going to take all of the money over the next 3 years to get 4.5 million. And it's going to mean that an already lean department, we eliminated dispatch, we reduced police officers, no department head has a pension. We created a business in the city of Fraser. For a police officer to get a pension now, they have to work much longer and it's much less. And oh, by the way, as a consequence, very infrequently do people apply. We have openings for police because it's not enticing. So so my point being, we're balancing, right? And we're trying to find. So to me, I said, 4.5 million. I will commit as a council member to, if that means that I have to stop Parks and Rec programs to get to 4.5 million, that's going to be my suggestion. I'm not saying that. If it means we have to defer something else,
Or
that's
the
where.
police hire Clinton Township or Sterling Heights and just eliminate the Fraser police?
You can't.
I'm not doing that, and I'm
No,
telling
it's-
you right now, that's
they
not on
protect
the
the
table.
bus- no way.
Or
That's-
reduce them to two?
We're reduced, like I said, we're down to 29 and we used to have 50.
And they do
No,
police,
how many-
fire, and EMS.
Yeah.
So
Need 29 policemen here?
Absolutely.
That is the minimum we can have
That's a minimum you can have by whose standard?
by the state standards. You have to
No,
have so many.
that's not true.
Oh, I thought it was the so many people have to be, okay, well, then she would know, her
Gotta have
husband.
so many people, police work 24/7, so you gotta have so many officers.
You want
and-
police
and their
officers
fire-
patrolling your
fire
roads.
personnel
I
as
live
well.
in a township where we share, yeah.
Well, and figure out how much you pay and ask Mount Clemens who outsourced. And,
I'm wondering.
yeah, right, no, ask Mount
Really?
Clemens, a 1 square mile city, how much they now pay for police. No, it's not 29 police. It's fire, police, and ambulance all in one. They come on an ambulance run, they put out your fire, and they stop the crime.
So the
One,
police
it's,
officer is the fireman?
yes.
Yes, we have the,
It is statistically significantly cheaper. It is the cheapest way to run a business, and I will challenge anyone on that all day, every day.
I didn't know they were wearing all the hats.
Yep,
yes,
all the
CSOs,
hats.
we've always. been-
And the fire is mandatory. It's a 2 in and 2 out policy.
I wouldn't eliminate.
Okay, but 2 in and 2 out, because I'm part of that, 2 in and 2 out. If you don't have that, you're violating if someone gets hurt, but we don't have 5 working at a time. So figure that out.
Just why we have volunteers.
2 in and 2 out. You have to, if you said 2 firemen in to fight the fire, you have to have 2 out ready to go get them.
Yep,
If we only have 5 people working,
2 are always ready to go.
I mean, remember when we lost a firefighter in 2000?
No, I didn't.
Okay, I was with him when he died.
So sorry.
And we didn't have the people and the resources to fight those fires. And we lost a guy for $7 an hour. So, think about it. This is why we do what we do. We try to budget. We think we have a very safe city. We try to keep it that way. Crime, drugs, there's more that happens than you guys can imagine with schools and, the things that you've seen before. And it's a busy city. It may be small, but it's a busy city. So we've done our due diligence. I don't like when Ken says, we overspend. Not this council. We've cut so much in the last 10 years, it's just crazy. I mean, hiring's a minimum, people's a minimum, contracts are minimum. Police didn't get a raise for almost 4 or 5 years.
All- right.
No, I get it, but that's why, we're part of what you, we believe you guys.
We are doing
We
what
have
you
done-
asked us to do today has been done for I've been on council for 4 years, and we have not filled positions. We have eliminated, and to the angst of our residents, we have closed Parks and Rec. We have not purposefully opened it because we wanted to be deliberative and appropriate with the money, because there's not enough money. And this was one of my goals, get your roads fixed. But unfortunately, the fix is not going to be the city contributing. If it was 18 million, if you wanted the gold standard roads, which is what I want for you, that's 32%, I think it is 4.5. So that's, and it's going to require more cuts, but I'm willing to commit it. And it's going to, but that's the reality. So the question becomes, what is it you guys collectively want? Because you started out saying you wanted nothing, and then you said you wanted the gold standard, and I appreciate that, and I'm not calling you out, because I think that is such a good conversation today. But what is the solution, right? I agree, 18.
Why do we have to do the infrastructure underground? Are the toilets backing up?
The sewers are collapsing.
Everything's
Some of them
collapsing.
are collapsing, some of them need fixing. They're to all over the city. I mean, it's just
We're
not,
doing that piecemeal.
you know.
Come on up and use the microphone.
I'm Kevin Breckel with Speedy Metals, 34155 Riviera. I did ask the engineer here about the issues of the pipe and whether or not a smaller diameter pipe could be lined into the old pipe without ripping up all of the old infrastructure, if that's a possibility. He says it could work, but when you can explain your words. I just,
Yeah, there's,
I want to
Like
look
the
at
pipe
a
bursting
cheaper
thing?
alternative, because, all the houses are having those copper lines now put in to the old existing lead pipes, and they're doing it the cheapest way they can. Couldn't we do it on our streets?
yeah, I can answer that question. The storm drains, there's a couple of different options for the pipe in condition that hasn't failed. If it's cracked and broken and on the verge of, we could look at lining like we're doing for the sanitary sewers. But the storm that we're looking at is just the stuff that's under the road that's really impacted by the immediate construction above. We would be remiss if we completed the road and didn't even take a look at the stuff underneath. So lining short segments, 36 feet, is really not cost effective. When you, and for slip lining, same thing. If you have to slip a 12-foot long piece of plastic pipe or PVC pipe inside of a storm, you got to dig up 12 feet to literally put that piece of pipe in and then slide it in. Wouldn't you rather dig up the 12 feet of bad pipe and just replace it at that time? So, we do evaluate all those options, and I'm pretty confident that we.
You don't want to pour new asphalt, then have to tear it up later when you have a sewer collapse, correct?
they had to
'Cause it
do
hasn't been
on
touched
Utica.
for 30 years.
It's trying to make the best decisions with everyone, and the more people you have involved, sometimes it's bad, but you got to listen to everybody's ideas and we'll put the best ones together we can.
And I do appreciate all of you being here, listening to us. I think working together is the best policy. No idea is a bad idea. We're just throwing ideas out, and you can't beat up the messenger just because they may say something that you don't agree with, because it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be the end result. I understand all of that, but I'm hoping that, our ideas, I understand, I'm hearing from you guys, well, it could be done that way, but, it's probably not the best overall going forward, looking at the future. But if that's what we as a collective body come up with, as far as we want it piecemeal, or we want, to cut costs here and there, hopefully you guys will take that into consideration if we decide as a collective body that's what we would like to do.
Well, we're going to do the best we can, but if you look at yourself as business owners, are you going to send your customers half-ass quality products, excuse my language, which will get by and it will last, but not like it should or not like you intended it to do?
It's like our cell phones,
Like-
You get a cell phone, you pay $1,000 for it, and the warranty's a year. So it's a crap you get, and it's a year, and the year's up, and then something goes wrong on it, and then you're spending another $1,000, and you just want to go, why?
Yeah.
I definitely understand that.
We're trying to give you the best we can and what we can, and that's why we'll come to, hopefully, agreement, what's going to be best for all of us, so.
But I'm kind of sensing, though, that you guys don't want to do it piecemeal. That's what I'm sensing. I know you want to do it the best way.
I don't have a problem doing it piecemeal.
If we come up as a collective body that we want to do it, piecemeal because it's not as hard on our individual pocketbooks. It may be in the long run, but in the long run, we're going to be making more money once we get out of Bidenomics and we get better.
Maybe, right.
So I just, hopefully we can all come to a conclusion of this.
Right.
And whatever it is, it is.
This council's not going to tell you have to use an electric stove and get rid of your gas.
Okay.
Okay?
Fair enough. Thank you all very much.
Ken's got 3 things, I got a couple, just work with us and believe in us, because we're up here for the right thing, please. I mean,
And we are the messenger,
if
unfortunately.
we didn't care, we would have just pushed this thing through and said, here you go.
Or we wouldn't have did
Our
it.
terms are over, who cares?
We wouldn't have did
Right?
it.
And we're not doing it.
Well, we'd be gone.
No, we'd be gone.
No,
We'd be gone. We'd go, oh, what?
Then the next council can deal with
Then you
that.
yell at them.
Yeah.
Right. so
We asked for this.
We're not doing that.
Mike, did you have some else?
If just to kind of explain a little bit more about the gold standard, I wanted to kind of give everyone an idea of the items that we have included in this estimate for the benefit of the businesses during construction. We made a lot of effort. We heard stories about the last time that the roads were done and the backups, and everything had to switch to night work, and we've included estimates of cost. Contractors don't do anything for nothing, so if we ask them to work at night, there's a cost associated with that. If we ask them to maintain the 206 driveways that serve the 129 parcels here, there's a cost to that. So I welcome the collaboration that I expect will happen to say, you know what, I don't need both of my driveways. You can pave right through that. We don't have to pay for gapping. We don't have to pay to maintain a driveway. Costs come down. You know what, I can share a driveway with my neighbor. We'll work it out. We close mine and then close him. All of that saves costs, and we haven't had the detailed discussions to get to that level of refinement of this estimate. Making sure that the dust is maintained with chemicals to keep everyone's businesses clean and welcoming for your customers, to make sure that concrete trucks aren't blocking the roadways while they're paving, so that customers can access, your trucks can get in and out. We've designed the section to accommodate that. So if there's room to make accommodations by the businesses so that it's a little bit more impactful, it will reduce the cost.
Absolutely. Ms. Levin, did you have?
Yep, I just have a couple things. Talking about the 1.5 million that we get from the state each year, I just wanted to remind everyone that that money is not just for like capital improvements to the roads. It's also for plowing the roads. It's for cleaning catch basins. It's for filling potholes, all the labor and everything associated with that. So it's not just 1.5 million to repair roads. Whenever I am out at any meetings, web meetings, anything like that with any type of official, I am always asking about this. I'm fighting for you guys. I'm saying, where is some road money for this industrial park, recognizing the fact that they're local roads. The majority of the money that's out there, especially all of this Gretchen Fix the Roads money, is for federal and state roads. It pretty much doesn't really trickle down to us. You're seeing all of this money to things like 94, partially maybe things like Groesbeck, Gratiot. It never trickles down to the level that we need here. Not even for your industrial parks, but not even for just our residential roads. So that's a big part of the problem. You know, you see all this great news coming from Gretchen and the office about fixing the roads. If you really take a look at it, you see that it's much higher level. One other thing, with this being the industrial park, these are local roads and they're not federal eligible. So there are a lot of grants that we are just completely shut out of because of that. I have been just fighting and talking to everyone, county, state, anyone that I see. Do you have anything coming down the pipeline? What do you have for these kind of roads? So if anybody has any other information on anything, please get a hold of me at the city offices, and I will certainly do any type of research to try and figure out if there is anything that we can use to help fund these roads.
Thank you.
Yep.
Anybody else except Ken? Okay, well, I want to thank everybody for coming tonight. Thank you for all your opinions, your thoughts, your honesty, as we will continue the same thing. Please keep us informed of your meetings and how you proceed with those. If you want myself or another council person there, we'll be glad to attend.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We volunteered for
Oh,
this.
except if Ken has one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been to, unfortunately.
We know
I've
they're
been-
horrible.
yeah,
We
I've
know
been to
they're
a lot of
horrible.
Businesses and.
No, the roads. Wow. No.
Rumors been circulating.
What was your name again?
Amy, we're gonna have you guys tour some of our places.
Yeah. I mean, we've all driven them individually as part of it.
I've been in a lot of them.
To meet us.
Yeah.
Come in and see what some of these people do.
Yeah.
And then you can see there's no Lamborghinis in the parking lot.
Because of the
Only in
roads.
Ken's driveway.
Yeah, right. Wait a minute. What are you driving?
Well, some of them, some
Corvette.
amazing work, because like I said, I've been through the 302 sites for the fire department, you know, the hazardous stuff and all that, and it's just carbide and all those people, it's amazing what they do with stuff. And unfortunately, we've had a lot of fires over there, too. One of them was never even rebuilt, the one guy doing the diesel gas, remember that one? Yeah. Yeah. So, but again, I thank you all for coming tonight. Any questions, please reach out to any of us or the city manager meanwhile, and we will get back with you.
Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion closed.
Oh, my God, thank you.